Welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to Wrestling Days Live. We are live for this week's NXT and AEW. So, hope everyone is well. We have just got a few things that we need to just tweak and change whilst we're just still setting up and having people join us. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is doing good. We've got quite a bit of news and things that we need to talk about, things that we need to go through. So we can go through all of that as people file their way in. Let me jump into the chat, say hello to everyone that's there. I can see people saying hello. Hello. So, yes, we've got a few things to go through. We've got information in regards to the Gauntlet Match. So, we've got the Gauntlet Match that's going to be taking place on Raw. And apparently this is going to be taking place to fill in those final spots, or that final spot, the one that Apollo Crews has freed up. We're going to find the replacement from the Gauntlet Match. So we've got that happening. As well as that, we've also got obviously a lot of things happening tonight. Tonight we're going to be seeing... let me have a look at what I've got written in my notes. We've got Charlotte versus Mia Yim. So we've got Charlotte against Mia Yim. We've got Keithley taking on Damien Priest. That apparently is for the North American Championship. So we've got that being defended as well. Drake Maverick is going to be in action tonight. So we are going to see Drake Maverick. He is taking on Tony Nese. So we've got Drake Maverick versus Tony Nese. And as we said, we've got Charlotte versus Mia Yim. What I'll say about Charlotte against Mia Yim is I really feel that the build for that has been very, very good. Because they've actually been building it up for a couple of weeks. Obviously, last week we saw a bit of disrespect between the two. They're really trying to tell this story about how they've known each other for a long time. Mia Yim was the person that really helped Charlotte kind of get up to speed in the world of wrestling. Because Charlotte was never really into the idea of being a wrestler. She did gymnastics when she was young. But when her brother passed away, it was something that she wanted to pursue, not just for her, but for him as well. So she does wrestling, not just for her, but for, I think, was it Reed Flair that passed away? So Mia Yim really helped her out in the early stages. So this is got a nice history to it. They've kind of been talking about that in recent weeks. So, yeah, I really like the poster that they tweeted out. It was a really nice poster on NXT. If I get a chance, I will try and find it and show it to you. But it just looks... It's got a big match feel to it because of the backstory that's been told. This very, very easily could just be another match. They could have announced this just last week, not given us that backstory, not really built it up. But they have actually gone as far as to try and make this feel big. And I gotta be honest, it's a match I'm looking forward to. I think Charlotte against Mia Yim could be an awful lot of fun. I think they've both got very interesting styles. And I can't wait to see what the outcome's going to be. So, really looking forward to that. Keithley versus Damien Priest. We do have the North American Championship being defended today. So that should be a very interesting match. It's a match I feel I've already seen quite a bit of, though, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I'm not sure how excited I am for that. And then, as we said, Drake Maverick, I mean, that's a whole separate conversation. We'll kind of have to come back to that Drake Maverick conversation as a separate thing, so I'm really worried about that as well. So, just before we get to what's happening on AEW... let me jump into the chat. I can see a lot of people saying hello. Hello to all of you, of course. Jason Peace says, shout out, please, Days. More than happy to do that, my friend. Shout out to you. Jody Gilly as well. You don't have to do that, my friend. I keep saying it, but let's see what Jody's got to say. Very, very kind donation. Let me Before I even read it, let me just drop a thank you at the bottom for Jody. Thank you, Jody Gilly. Can I just say that I was over whilst I was setting this stream up? I just don't get a chance to comment as much anymore. I really am finding this now. So make no mistake about it. If the insiders are on, I'm there. But I just don't get a chance to comment. But I did drop a couple of comments. It was the same the other night as well. I was like doing a video after Raw, and I didn't really get a chance to jump into the comments as much. But I was still there listening along to what was happening. So, as I said, if the insiders are on, I am there. And if I can comment, I will always try to comment. So, I dropped a few comments, but the Abby's window that they just did was excellent. I believe there's an interview that's going to follow us tonight. I think it might be with our very own Coaster Maniacs. I've had a lot of people asking about Coaster Maniacs. Obviously, a very active member in our community. I've done a couple of videos with Coaster Maniacs. I believe there's even a live stream potentially coming up this weekend. I'm going to jump over to the Coaster Maniacs YouTube channel and do some stuff over there. So I think that interview follows us tonight. But anyway, Abby's window was just before. As I said, I was listening. It was awesome. Jody says, days. Haven't done that for a hot minute. How are you, buddy? Lovely to see your smiling face. We lost one of our patients today to a brain tumor, 2 years old. So I need that smile. You guys make me smile. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's the hard thing about what Jody does. Jody obviously a nurse and caring for people, and that's going to affect anyone, isn't it? So shout out to you, Jody. There's nothing I can say about that. All I can say is, just sit back, try and take your mind off what happens at work and things like that. It's a hard thing, a hard job that you do, but an excellent job that you do. And I know that the chat definitely will be thanking you for your hard work as well. So shout out to you, Jody. Excellent Abby's window, as I just said. So, right. Slimby says, "What's up, Days? Sorry, I've been gone for a while. How are you doing, buddy?" I'm good, thank you. I'm feeling. Do you know what? I'm feeling quite optimistic about tonight because I think we're in store for some really, really enjoyable matches. I'm not gonna let the Drake Maverick thing get to me. I was very, very, very angry last week. And I'm going to try my best to not let it get to me this week, but I'm warning you now, I'm going to be very, very angry again because I did the video after last week's stream, and as I said, there's no positive way out of this. Even if WWE give him his job back, I'm going to be pleased for him, right? I'm going to be happy for Drake, and I hope that happens. Like, I want that to happen. But they are currently stringing this out for views. They are, as we said, Byron Saxton saying his fate hangs in the balance. And, they went up to him after the show and they actually got one of the wrestlers to cut a promo. Like, one of the wrestlers, Jake Atlas, was like, dude, I just wanted to say that you and I, we belong here because we're fighting. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's horrific. Like, you are mixing real life with storyline. A man has just lost his job and you're trying to make content out of it. It's way too far for me. Way too far. So I'm out. I'm not wearing the supporting Drake shirt. You can see I don't have the Drake Maverick banner behind me. I think that they're now playing this. They're now trying to make this a thing. And I'm not going to be playing along with that. I'm not going to be doing what they want me to do. I was supporting Drake because I wanted him to get his job back, and I absolutely still do. But for them to try and make content out of it, for them to try and get, don't let them keep you down kind of interview. And even if he gets his job back, I'm pleased for Drake, but what has WWE done? All WWE have done is corrected the thing that they did in the first place. All they've done is they've made right what they did wrong in the first place. I'm not going to be celebrating WWE for that. Is this... I don't understand. I don't understand this story. They do you know what? I said I wasn't going to get upset, and I'm going to start getting upset, so I'm not going down this road. I'm not going down this road. It's one of the most offensive things I've ever seen. So, Drake Maverick is in action tonight, and I'm just going to largely try and ignore it, to be honest. Coaster Maniacs says, you are correct, sir. Tonight, after the stream, get into the mind of the Maniac. We love you all. Hugs for Jody. Never easy. You are a hero. There we go. Lovely words from Coaster Maniacs. Lovely words. And words that we all reflect as well. Jody says, I got pretty close to that patient, so it stung a bit. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to get close to patients. I mean, you know, bedside manner and caring, and of course you're going to have that connection. So if something like that happens, of course it's going to sting. But at least you was there for them. That's the way to remember it, isn't it? You know, you was the one that was helping them in this world when they needed help. So credit to you, my friend. Ashley Drury says, Days, long time no speak. However, unfortunately, I've had a high temperature and dizzy and tiredness. Thought it might be the virus. However, I am up and running. Let's have a great stream. Shout out to you, Ashley Drury. Hope you are well. Chalmers writing in code, the truth will be heard, says Chalmers. I hear you. I hear you. Dalton says, the big news I was talking about is that Gerald Briscoe is not fired. He was just... he was furloughed, wasn't he? Yes. Shout out to Wrestling Days fam. Ethan says, do you think we'll get Velveteen Dream tonight? I don't think you'll hear about the Dream at all. He's not going to get buried. You're not going to hear about him. I think whilst these allegations are out there and whilst things are being investigated, I think it's wise for them to keep the Velveteen Dream off TV full stop. So I'm not expecting anything to do with the Velveteen Dream. A lot of people asking questions about WWE, which is absolutely fine. We're absolutely here to talk about that. I do want to get to AEW in a second because there are some really interesting things happening in AEW. We've obviously got the TNT semi-finals tonight, which I think is going to be very exciting. Cody versus Darby Allin, I think has got real potential to be such a great match. So I'm really looking forward to that. Brody Lee is in action. There's quite a few things. So we've got bits to talk about in regards to WWE, but we've definitely got bits to talk about in regards to AEW as well. So any AEW fans watching, we haven't forgotten about you. I'm just going to take a few moments to answer whatever questions it is that are coming through from the chat so far. I can see people saying they enjoyed the Wrestling Escape Pod. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was on Friday. There was another quick little video. I don't bother premiering like any little bits that I chuck up on that channel. So there was one that went up earlier, but I just chucked it up. And there is a new episode after SmackDown. Obviously, the new episodes every week after SmackDown. This one is... I love this one. I genuinely love this one. I think I told you guys that the last episode, the disappointing results, it can be a bit heavy because if you're going to talk about the most disappointing results, it's going to be difficult to find the light and the sunshine. But this week's episode, funniest moments. We're going to recap the funniest wrestling moments. We had a lot of fun with it as well. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this Friday's episode. So that will follow SmackDown. So we've got that on the way. Hasib says, Days, do you think that Cody versus Dustin in the final, and it could be that Cody retires Dustin? It could be that way, yes. I think if Dustin is going to go out, I think that he will want to go out at the hands of Cody. If not Cody, then maybe he'd want to put over an up-and-coming talent. He's not saying that his match tonight against Lance Archer is going to be a retirement match. Dustin said that, he really hated Kip Sabian, so if he couldn't get past Kip Sabian, then he would retire. Well, thankfully he did, but it doesn't look like he's making that claim anymore. So if he loses tonight, I don't think that you're going to see him retire. For that reason, I think he loses tonight. So I'm gonna say that as cool as it would be to have Cody versus Dustin in the final, I think they're building up Lance Archer. I think they obviously gave Lance Archer Jake the Snake Roberts. I don't see why they would want him to lose to Dustin unless it's going to be some kind of DQ, he goes wild kind of a thing. So I think tonight, and it's just a guess, but I'm going to say Lance Archer wins and goes through to the final. And maybe we get Cody versus Lance Archer in the final. Although it'd be really cool if Darby could get the win tonight. I think both of these semi-finals are intriguing. So, yeah, I'm on board with it. I like it. I think that AEW looks like it's going to have a decent show. Because as well as those two matches, we've got Best Friends taking on Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian. We've also got Brody Lee taking on Marko Stunt. Little Marko Stunt. We got Brody Lee taking him on, so that should be a massacre. And also we've got a Jon Moxley promo. So quite a bit coming up on AEW. Swamp Manor says, Days, I hope Priest wins tonight so that we can see Keithley on SmackDown. That's an interesting point, yeah. I gotta be honest, Keithley against Damien Priest, Keithley against Dijakovic, I'm kind of done with these matches. I feel like these three have just been orbiting around each other for quite a while. So I would like Keithley to move on to something new, and actually if that means he moves to a different brand, let's do it. Chalmers says, what is your favourite wrestling show that you went to? That's a good question. I've got to be honest, the first one that comes to mind might be when I went to Fight Club Pro in Wolverhampton. I've spoke about that show before. But to be in the crowd for the Elite versus British Strong Style, so Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, all in the same match. To see that, and the undercard was incredible as well, because you had Pentagón Jr., you had Jimmy Havoc, Mark Andrews, Lio Rush was on that card. There was Tegan Knox was in the first match as well. The whole thing was stacked. It was absolutely stacked. Every single match had like a big name in it and a few surprises. Like we didn't know that Tegan Knox was going to be there. We didn't know that Lio Rush was going to be there. You got to remember, this is just before both Lio and Tegan got signed by WWE. You're kind of going back to 2017. So it's about 3 years ago. But to see that show down the road in Wolverhampton, like I think Wolverhampton's about 35, 40 minutes away from me, where I am right now. So to be down the road, incredible. And to see and it was a venue that could hold about 500, 600 people, and there was 1,000 people there. It was literally the dictionary definition of standing room only. The dictionary definition of it. In fact, if they say standing room only, they might as well just show a picture of that show, because everyone was having to stand in the aisles and all around the bar and everything. You couldn't squeeze another person in. But what was so great was all the wrestlers were signing stuff after. I didn't really get a chance to meet anyone because it was that busy. But as I walked in, you had a table, as you go into the venue, a table right there. Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, just signing and chatting to people. So there is a picture of me with Tyler Bate, and it's from that show. And I actually bought a t-shirt from him. So I think just for all of those memories, and just for the actual show, I'd say that was my... It's hard to say it's my favourite, because I've been to some great WWE ones. Like seeing Tyler Bate win the UK title was very, very special. Very, very special. And yeah, so I've been fortunate to go to a few that I absolutely love. Miss Clown 1 says, I've got a sinking feeling the Maverick thing was always WWE's plan, and I hope that Maverick himself wasn't aware they would be doing this. This is my problem with that, is that I don't actually know the truth. I don't think any of us do right now. The latest rumor that I heard is that he was fired, and he is still fired. And that just makes me feel sick for what they're putting him through right now. Like, he is still having conversations saying, my plan to get WWE to take me back is to show them the heart that I've got. And at no point have they said so far they're going to look to take him back. So I don't understand where this conversation's coming from. I don't really get this storyline. The story is they've fired someone. He's working his final matches. He's hoping they'll take him back. They haven't said that they will. And they're just milking him for YouTube vids and stuff. And to see a company treat someone that way, someone with his passion, is appalling. Is absolutely appalling. To the point where, I've got to be honest, I was asking big questions as to whether we would carry on doing NXT streams. I really was last week heavily debating whether to just flip this to straight AEW and we'd be done with NXT altogether. Because I'm struggling to support this storyline. It bothers me that much. Ryan Reynolds says, hello Days, hope you are well. I'm going through a rough time. Really looking forward to watching tonight with you, my friend. Ryan, also I'd say is you're absolutely not alone. Whatever it is that you're going through, I get a lot of messages from people that are going through health issues, going through livelihood issues. And again, it just comes back to the point what we just said with this Drake Maverick thing. This is not the time for this storyline. Yes, run this. If this is a story that they want to run at any other time, fine. But not whilst record numbers of people are losing their jobs. It's. I think they're under the impression this might be relatable, therefore it's entertaining or something. I don't. It's not entertaining for me. But so whatever it is, Ryan, you're absolutely not on your own, my friend. You're not on your own. But we're going to watch some good wrestling, buddy. Absolutely. Mr. Thomas, shout out to you. Thank you for the kind words about the Wrestling Escape Pod. It amazes me how many people have reached out about that, as I said. So thank you all very much for that as well. I'm trying to read as many of these as I can. I've got Eric Haberman saying Days on Instagram. Cody said the TNT Championship belt will be revealed around the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Cool. Cody also said something else very interesting on Instagram. He was asked about would they be picking up certain released stars, and the conversation came up about Heath Slater, and his reaction I thought was incredible. His exact reaction was no, not Heath Slater. Like an absolute category. I don't know if there's heat between them. I don't know if it's a swerve and they're trying to throw us off. I don't know what's happening, but it was an absolute categoric nope, no to Heath Slater. So I don't know if there's bad blood. I don't know if Heath has said any bad things about AEW in the past, or I don't know the story there. I just thought that it was kind of amazing that he didn't have a more kind of politician answer. Do you know what I mean? Like a politician answer where they go, well, you know, Heath is a very talented superstar and we're always looking to bring talent here into AEW. So never say never. You know, that would be the kind of thing that a politician would say. But he didn't. He absolutely categorically came out and went, nope. So I thought that was amazing. I think WWE are doing with Drake is to get the crowd behind him so that when he wins the Cruiserweight title, it'll be a huge crowd reaction. I understand that. I get that. But the problem I've got with that is that Drake is currently selling shirts that say, like, fight, Spud, fight, and all stuff like this. So he is benefiting financially from people that genuinely want to support him. Right now, there's a lot of people, majority of people, that are worried about him and about his future and his livelihood. And in a way, I don't want to word this wrong, but he sort of becomes a charity, if you know what I mean. People will buy his shirt that wouldn't normally buy his shirt. I hope that makes sense. Nothing against Drake, but, you know, we all want to help at this time. And if Drake has just lost his job and he's just lost his livelihood, right, then people are going to want to give him money, going to want to help support him. And that's brilliant. I wanted to do that. I made a shirt that said Drake. And I was even this week going to say, guys, if you can do it, go out, buy a Drake Maverick shirt, you know, because you want to help, right? If all of this is a work, if he's not fired, right, or if he's been rehired on the quiet, then that means that he's getting money that potentially could go to wrestlers that need it. And I've got a problem with that. And I've also got a problem with the fact that Drake Maverick being released, but maybe not really being released, also kind of throws shade on all of the other wrestlers. Like, should I buy a Rusev shirt to support Rusev? Or is Rusev going to come back in a week's time as well? What about Micah Maria Kanellis? You know, should I be supporting them, or is that all the workers now? For me, it casts a big shadow over all of it, and really starts to make you question all of it, the whole thing. I just don't like it. I think if you're going to run a story at this time, it's the work. They're looking at it thinking this is the best time to run this story because we've actually let people go. We've actually fired people. So this is a great time to run a story about this person being fired. No, this is the worst time because there's people actually suffering in the world. There's people that are losing their jobs. This is relatable in the worst way possible. It's not entertainment. I said this on Twitter. I'm not watching this and being entertained. Watching a man suffer is not entertaining me. And then if he does get his job back, everyone's going to question if it was all the work from the start anyway. So I don't think that huge reaction's going to be there because it's lost me already. If he gets his job back, I'll be pleased for him. But I will also be questioning, did he lose it in the first place? And why did it take him that long to give it him back? Like, they just milked him for views. They fired a man and milked him for views. I ain't celebrating that. There ain't no huge reaction from me on that. Any which way you want to carve it up, it's trash. And I will argue that point with anyone. I hate it. I hate it. If it's a storyline, it's disrespectful and it's tasteless. If it's not a storyline, then it's cruel. So, which one do you want to be, Vince? Do you want to be disrespectful and tasteless? Or do you want to be cruel? Because those are your only options. I don't see any positive way out of it. I'm telling you, the more we're going to talk about this Drake Maverick thing, I'll keep complaining till the cows come home because I feel very strongly on it. Swamp Manor says, Days, could we see Loomis tonight? We could see Loomis tonight. Can I just tell you that Shawn Michaels has named 5 wrestlers in NXT that he believes is the future, and Loomis was one. If you actually watched our NWA stream yesterday, we was enjoying. It was really good, actually. If you get a chance to watch it, you should. Not even the stream. Just go to NWA and just watch what they put out yesterday, because they actually showed you how the NWA kind of went through its recent rebirth. So the NWA was kind of bobbing around a little bit after it, parted ways with TNA. And it was bobbing around and the belt was being defended on different shows. But then, of course, Mr. Corgan, Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, he bought the NWA. And then it all started this big relaunch, this big rebrand. And you go back and you actually see the start of all of that. And what was really interesting, the voiceover was done by Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis used to work with the NWA under the name of Sam Shaw. And then I believe he went to TNA and worked over in TNA under the name of Sam Shaw as well. Well, obviously, as we've spoke about before, when anyone joins WWE, they look to change the name. Not all the time. I don't know why. I don't know the criteria. I don't know how Kushida comes in and stays as Kushida, but Sam Shaw comes in and becomes Dexter Lumis. I don't quite get how that works, but Dexter Lumis is someone that has been on the indie scene, has got a great history, and now he's come in with a great gimmick. I think a gimmick that was quite similar to his TNA Sam Shaw gimmick. And we've seen him for a few weeks. I would expect to see him tonight just kind of standing in the corner and staring and just being freaky. And he was one of the people that Shawn Michaels named as a big person for the future. The other 4 that Shawn named, he named 5. So Loomis, he named Timothy Thatcher, who we saw is now teaming with Matt Riddle, whilst Pete Dunne is obviously stuck here in the UK. So Timothy Thatcher, I think, looks awesome. He's a great wrestler. He is a great, technical wrestler, mat wrestler. He can get you on the ground. He's great in the scramble, knows loads of reversals, different submission moves. He's a great wrestler. I don't know what his promos are like. I don't know what his gimmick's like. But as an actual in the ring wrestling, one of the best. And Shawn is a big, big fan of what he's seen so far of Timothy Thatcher. So Dexter Lumis, Timothy Thatcher, Killian Cross. Yeah, Karrion Cross. Killian Cross. I was thinking of Killian Dane. Karrion Cross or Killer Cross. Whatever you want to call him. Apparently he chose that name, by the way, Karrion Cross. That's not WWE creative. That's come from him. So he calls himself Karrion Cross, and that's his NXT name. We've not seen him properly. He just attacked Tommaso the other week. We're still waiting to see him, but apparently he is really impressing Shawn Michaels. So he named him. And as well as that, he's really into Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. It says it reminds him a lot of Diesel and himself. You know, where Dakota goes in, she does all the wrestling, but then you've got the monster on the outside, which was obviously Diesel. But here it's Raquel Gonzalez. So he was hot on those 5. Those are the 5 he named. And actually, when you think about it, it's kind of really, really cool. It's really, really cool that we've got so many new people that are breaking through. It's a lot of new talent that's come through. You know, it's only been in recent weeks, months that we've seen Austin Theory kind of emerge on the scene. Obviously, Forgotten Sons have broken through. Bianca Belair getting a call up. Now we're seeing Timothy Thatcher, Dexter Lumis, Karrion Cross breaking through. There's a lot of talent that's coming through. I think part of it might be to do with some of the lockdown stuff. If you think Pete Dunne is stuck here in the UK. Jordan Devlin, the current Cruiserweight champ, is stuck here in the UK. So all of this is allowing, I think Volta as well. Volta is stuck here in the UK. So, and have we seen Finn? I think Finn might be stuck here in the UK, which is why we never saw him last week. Actually, I don't know where he is. Because didn't we see him and Velveteen do something? So I'm not sure what's going on with Finn Balor. But definitely what with people self-isolating, people like Roman that are just, I'm not taking part whilst this is around. And then people being stuck in different countries. With all of this kind of stuff going on, it's really opened up some opportunities. So it's a very exciting time. I think it's a very exciting time for young talent, as long as they don't get cut like Deonna Purrazzo and Tiniara Conti and people like that. But there's definitely going to be opportunities, and you would hope even more opportunities once we get back to, crowds and we get past this coronavirus thing. I think there'll be some stars made during this period that maybe weren't planned on being made, if that makes sense, because of everything we just discussed. Eric Haberman says, Days, we might see the TNT Championship bout around Double or Nothing. That's what Cody said, yeah. Vape Ross Vape says, Days, have you seen Dexter's artwork? I have not, no. I haven't seen Dexter's artwork. Ethan says, NWA is my favourite outside of OVW. Swamp Manor says, Days, my uncle is very good friends with Trent Seven. I've never actually spoke to Trent Seven, and I've never spoke to Pete Dunne, amazingly. I've had opportunities. I've been in the same room as them probably about 3 times or something like that. And I could have gone over and said something. But to be honest, I mean, what do you say? I could go over and go, really love what you do. They get told that all the time. It's not, do you know what I mean? They don't necessarily need to hear that from me. So, yeah, I don't know. I would like to at some point get my picture taken with Pete Dunne. I do think that I've got a picture with Tyler. I'd like to get a picture with Trent as well. I think they're for me, I think they're very inspirational. There is a lot when it comes down to people that come from where you're from, if you know what I mean. Like British Bulldog meant a lot to me as I was growing up because he was from the UK. And that blew my mind that the British Bulldog somehow, I mean, you've got to remember, he was not spoken about here in the UK. That he was not on the news. He was never on any chat shows. I'd never heard of him. I'd never seen him or heard of him. I didn't know anything about him. So imagine watching a random program, wrestling, WWE. My cousin gave me the tape, and finding out that there was a British megastar in America called the British Bulldog, who didn't even know existed. Do you know what? Funnily, that happened again not that long ago, a few years back. I found out about John Oliver. John Oliver is not known in the UK. If you show a picture of John Oliver to people on the high street in the UK, they will just look blankly at you. He's not known. His show's just not shown on TV over here like we don't get Last Week Tonight. So I think there are ways that you can get it, but it's not as if it's on any major channels. If it is shown, it's shown on HBO, buried like late night or something, you know. So this is what I'm saying. He's not a household name, and neither was the British Bulldog. So yeah, that kind of blew my mind. But he was from like Leeds, Manchester way. But these guys are all from like I think I actually looked on Google Maps. Trent Seven, his town that he's from, Netherton. I can walk there from Stourbridge, which is where I was born. I could not in a car. I could walk to Netherton in 2 hours. Like, that's pretty close. It's 10 minutes in a car, if that. Like, I don't even know if it would take 10 minutes to actually drive to where... Funnily enough, I used to have to go to Netherton for various different things. So it's a place I actually know. So the fact that there's a WWE superstar, the first UK champion that comes from there, is very, very inspirational to me. Yeah, I love those guys. I can't even remember how we got onto that subject, but I just love them. Sean Reset. I will try and catch up. We go back up and see if I can find it. Oh, I can't find it. I can't find that Sean Reset one. I can see Coaster Maniacs saying Joshua Hutton wants a shout out. Shout out to you, Joshua. Hope you are well. Thank you very much for letting me see that, Coaster Maniacs. I can't see that. I can't see that Sean Reset one. Sean, just let me know what you said and I'll read it out, buddy. Days Baron Corbin, more talented twin brother Damien Priest will win tonight. Stop showing off that you're a great walker. Oh, I never said I walked it. Make no mistake about it. At no point have I ever actually done that walk. I just looked on Google Maps and it told me how long it would take. But I've never done it. Chalmers says, Days, I just made another one of those dub things using your picture. Very cool. Tag me in it. Swamp Manor says, I'm in Wales, so I rarely get chance to go to the Midlands. That's understandable. David Cage says, much love. Love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate the support. I've got a few more things that I want to go through. Just want to keep an eye out for Sean, because apparently I did miss Sean's super chat. So Sean, if you drop that comment in again, I am keeping an eye out. Here we go. Sean says, Days, Finn has a tattoo on his hand, not sure if it's new. If it's the one of a kid looking at the sky, like an astronaut looking at the sky, then he's had that since he came back to NXT. I've seen a T-shirt that he's selling now that's got it on. I think it says "To the Moon We Go" or something here, and then on the back it's got the tattoo. So I think that might be a T-shirt that he's selling, or I don't know. Actually, I don't know where the T-shirt's being sold, but yeah, I've seen it. I think it's been around since he returned to NXT. He probably got it to cheer himself up after he lost to The Fiend. Anna Dawes says, "Isn't it more amazing that one of your moderators lives in Netherton?" Tyler Bate, who? Lol. Yes, it is. It is amazing. It is. This is very much a Netherton appreciation stream. Ben Russell says, "Days, early on I was watching a video where Mama Days got you the WrestleFest arcade game, and the video of you playing it, I wondered, do you still have it? And if so, do you still play it?" I do. It's actually right over there. It's got like figures and things on it. I haven't played it for a little while because I just don't get a chance to play it, to be honest. But yeah, I have played it this year, but I have played it probably once this year. But yeah, I do really love it. It's a great just item to have. You know, it's always there. If ever I wanted to play WrestleFest, it's always just there. And that's genuinely one of my favorite games. This is why when I've been talking about Battlegrounds, that new 2K game, like I'm being very serious when I say I'm very excited about it. I know that the graphics are a bit cartoony, and they're not kind of similar to the WrestleFest graphics. Retromania Wrestling, that game looks a lot closer to it. So I think Retromania Wrestling looks a little better if you wanted WrestleFest graphics. But we found out a little bit more about Battlegrounds, actually. Battlegrounds information coming from Smack Talks. So Smack Talks is a channel, a gaming channel on YouTube that seem to be able to get like good insider information, and they've done a bit of investigating work, and they found out a few new things about Battlegrounds. So apparently there's going to be cars that can fall from the sky. Now this makes me think that maybe one of the venues is going to be like a junkyard, and there's going to be cars or something, and maybe the crane, you know, the crusher or something, and like there's going to be cars that fall. It's actually in a description on an official 2K. I don't know if it was a forum or something like this, but it was 2K that had written it. They'd written a description of the game. So they said there's going to be alligators, and we've already seen that in the trailer. They said there's going to be falling cars. Now, of course, this isn't going to be in every level. Like, this isn't, you're not going to have to dodge cars all the time. But, yeah, I just thought, I wonder if one of the things is going to be like a junkyard or something. So that sounded quite fun. Apparently there's going to be exploding barrels, which is going to be another aspect. There's going to be a customizable suite, so it looks like there'll be a Create a Superstar area. So Create a Superstar looks like there's going to be a whole suite for that, because it says there will be customizable characters as well as WWE superstars that you can play as. Apparently there's a electrified cage as well. So it looks like you can have a cage match and you can have it electrified. So yeah, this is full on arcade. I hope that you can have normal matches as well. I'm totally down with falling cars, exploding barrels, alligators. Totally down with all of that. But I would like to have normal matches as well. Like, it should be easy to do. So as long as like you can choose. You could have normal matches, Royal Rumbles. I want normal, and then I'm fine with wacky as well. But I just want pick up and play. I just want to pick it up and go, bash a few buttons and just have fun. I just want to have fun, and I never seem to have fun when I played the 2K games. Too in depth. There's too many different buttons and like reversals and timings, and I don't know. I could be in the minority. I never find them fun to play. Coaster Maniacs says Two Fly Crew. Yes, Two Fly Crew. That is the new name of Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. They've both sent tweets out today. I've got to say, when I first heard it, I thought it was awful. Two Fly Crew reminds me of some late 80s, early 90s hip-hop group. And I wanted the Killer Wasps. Yeah, I wanted a tag team name like that, because it's got its connections to the Killer Bees. So, something like that. I thought that would be cool. High Flyers. Two Fly Crew. I mean, it really does sound like they're about to break into a rap. It really sounds like they're about to break into a rap. So, I didn't like it at first. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever heard. That honor goes to Shorty G. But, yeah, I'm still not sure. Days, I don't know why Battlegrounds is getting a lot of hate. It sounds and looks fun, says Michael. I can kind of understand. I mean, first of all, you've got a large group of people that wanted another game like they get every year. They want, the simulation game. So it's going to upset them people, okay? Then you've got people that want arcade game but didn't want that. They don't want... I've got to admit, Charlotte looks off and Becky looked a bit off. I thought The Rock looked great and I thought John Cena looked great, but Becky and Charlotte did look a little off. So there's people that are complaining about that. There's people that don't want the fire. There's just, do you know what I mean? There's people that are like, oh, I don't want alligators and all this kind of stuff. I think people wanted it more like No Mercy or Here Comes the Pain and, those kind of arcade, but still in a simulation kind of a way. It's kind of a nice mixture of the two. Whereas this is full on arcade. This is full on arcade. But I'm down for it. I can't wait to see what it's. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I would love to actually go wherever they show the game first of all. And they preview the game and you can actually go and get your hands on it before it actually launches. I'd love to go and give it a go and just kind of, explore it myself. I'm not going to turn into a video game YouTuber. That's not what I want to do. But for the first time in a long time, I'm actually looking forward to a WWE video game. And I just want to get my hands on it, see what it feels like, see if it's fun to play. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Forward to it. It looks like a mobile game. That is another criticism. Yes, it looks like a mobile game. The only counterpoint that I would put to that though is I'm not aware of any mobile games that are like that, if you know what I mean. I know of Supercard, but that's a card-based game, and I know there is is it W2K Legends or something? But that's some kind of a duel game. You have to match the jewels up. I'm not aware of a game like that that's WWE that exists. So people are saying, oh, it looks like a mobile game, but it looks like a mobile game that doesn't exist. So if it's going to be a mobile game, right, but it's going to have loads of options. I mean, they've already said it's going to be very deep. They said that you can, they're making it sound like it's going to have a story mode and all this other stuff. Way more than what you're going to get on a mobile game. So if it's going to be a mobile game in its looks, but it's going to have lots of options and it's going to be fun to play, I've got no problem with it whatsoever. I mean, yeah, let's make no mistake about it. It's not a $70 game, but if you're going to knock it out for $40, $50 at most, sign me up, Buttercup. Sign me up. What is your favourite wrestling faction of all time? I like the Shield. I think the Shield were awesome. I'm not saying they're the best. I think you've got to look at the Four Horsemen. Maybe the Fabulous Freebirds. Maybe the Von Erichs. I think they would be amongst the top tier. But I think WWE-wise, I'd be saying the Shield. WWE 2K Battlegrounds is a console game. It is a console game, yes. Monica King says, I can't wait for the game to come out. I hope it's good. Yeah, same here. I just want a good game. Same. I understand I understand the criticism. I've enjoyed seeing the criticism, actually. It's been quite interesting, like, people sharing their opinions on it. And I had a good conversation with Tommy about it on the Wrestling Escape Pod. That was the video that dropped earlier. Yeah, if you want to hear, like, more thoughts on it, then I'd point you in that direction. Right, for everyone that's just joined us, because we've actually only got 12 minutes. This always happens. But if you have just joined us, hello. Let me just run down through the information I've got, make sure that we have touched on everything. So, there's going to be a last chance gauntlet match on Raw for the Apollo's Money in the Bank spot. Apollo is out. They're going to do a last chance gauntlet match. Now, I would imagine it's going to include everyone that lost in the qualifiers. I can't think as to who they are. I think that's like MVP. I think it's Murphy. And definitely other people. So I think it's everyone that lost. I hope there's a surprise. I hope that Edge is in there or someone like that. If it's literally just going to be everyone that lost in the qualifiers, I think that's really flat. Really flat. And I was really hoping for better than that. So they're saying last chance gauntlet match on Raw. Okay. Shout out to the insiders and shout out to Joe, because he sent me an image of a new Fiend mask. I don't know if you've seen this, but on WWE Shop, you can actually buy a new Fiend mask. It's $100 and some. It's deluxe version, and it looks really good. It's, I mean, as you can imagine, the best looking Fiend mask we've had so far. Like the other one that was around $40, $50, it kind of like bumped out here, didn't it? A little bit, like, it's, I don't know what it was. It didn't look quite right. I know quite a few people have like changed the color of it. They've made it a bit paler. They've kind of like cut little bits out the side. Like, clearly it wasn't right. I've seen a lot of people doing adjustments. Well, they've come out with a brand new one, a deluxe version, a deluxe Fiend mask. But as I said, you got to pay. It's over $100. But that is on WWE Shop right now. We've got Charlotte has got new side plates, and they look really cool as well. If you remember, her old side plates was her eye, and then it had like the stars above, because like she used to have like stars around here. Like, I don't think she does it anymore. So that's why they've actually given her new side plates now. So it's not the eye with like the sparkle bits. It's the chess pieces. You've got all these pawns in the background, and then in the middle you've got the queen chess piece, and I think it says Charlotte on the top. So it looks really cool. I know they've done a t-shirt of that. I think actually Euroshop might have sent me that t-shirt when I did one of the unboxings. So anyway, you'll see it tonight if you watch NXT. Charlotte's new side plates. So yeah, very cool. And of course, she's taking on Mia Yim tonight. Really good graphic promoting this. 5 years in the making. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that match. I think the build for it has been very, very good. Very, very good. We've got Keithley versus Damien Priest. We've got, for the North American title, we've got Drake Maverick taking on Tony Nese in that interim cruiserweight title. Shawn Michaels named Dexter Lumis, Timothy Thatcher, Karrion Kross, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez as his 5 to watch in NXT. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander are going by the name of Two Fly Crew. And apparently, we haven't even spoke about this, Vince McMahon is negotiating selling WWE to ESPN and Fox. Now, that is just a rumor. I would worry about that. I really would, because if it does sell and they take control, right, I think you could see some very interesting stuff happening, okay? But I think also you run the risk of people that don't know about wrestling running wrestling. I think once ratings start to drop, they could just drop it. To them, they don't care about the history. They don't care. Like, if it's not working, you know, if it's run its course, if they've made their money back, or if it's a loss, losing money, they'll just cut their losses and that's it. And WWE dies and it's gone and it's dead. So I'm not celebrating or hoping that Vince sells to ESPN and Fox. Not at all. So I'm a little worried about that, but that is just a rumor. William Hensey, shout out to you, my friend. William says, "Hey days, appreciate the support, buddy. You know you absolutely did not need to do that, but let me put a thank you down in the bottom to William Hensey. Gotta say, William is always joining us on these streams, and I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the support. So shout out to William. Really cool to see you joining us so often. Very cool. But you know that you don't have to do that. Right, let's move on to AEW. On AEW, Cody, speaking about Heath Slater, said nope, he's not having him. He's not going to AEW, which was quite a surprise. We've got the TNT semi-finals between Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin. Plus also we've got Lance Archer taking on Dustin Rhodes. So some big matches taking place on AEW tonight. We've also got Chucky T and Trent taking on Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian. We've got Brody Lee taking on little Marko Stunt. And we've got a Jon Moxley promo. The final thing that I've got as well is Marty Scurll has come out and said that Ring of Honor and AEW are willing to work together. Apparently there has been talks. They just haven't found like the right time. So we don't know if this is something that's planned. We don't know how far down that road that is. It's no surprise whatsoever because Marty says he speaks to the Young Bucks at least a couple of times a week. Obviously, he used to be in the Bullet Club. He's got a great relationship with the Bucks and Kenny Omega. Big rumors that he was going to go to AEW till Ring of Honor dropped a big bag of money on his lap and also gave him creative powers as well. So he ended up staying with Ring of Honor. But as a result, you know, he's starting to talk to AEW about could they do something together. And that could be very interesting. There's some great people in Ring of Honor, like the Briscoes. And as we said, Marty Scurll himself. And you know that they would love to bring Marty in. I just wonder if it might open the door for NWA as well. Because obviously Marty's got a great relationship with Nick Aldis. And obviously Cody's got a great respect for the NWA. So, I don't know, once we get past this phase, you kind of feel like there's a bit of movement happening with AEW, Ring of Honor, NWA. There's a lot of plates that are moving around. So, a lot of excitement, a lot of free agents now as well that could really bring some excitement to that. Yeah, I mean, like Mike and Maria Kanellis, you'd imagine that they will go somewhere. I don't think they'll go to AEW, but NWA could take them, you know. Maria could be a big asset to that women's division, just wrestling the occasional match like Melina did. But Mike is still a very active wrestler. He could bring something to the men's division as well. So you're kind of getting a package deal. So, yeah, there's some very interesting prospects. Rusev, of course, is out there now as well. So I think JR said that AEW would be very, very interested in Rusev. And that's, again, no surprise. Dylan says, Days, does Fox buying WWE mean that Disney own it? I honestly don't know because they're just rumors. I mean, Disney doesn't own... Well, what did they buy? They bought 20th Century Fox, didn't they? So they do own Fox, but they don't own Fox Network or Fox News. Now, I can't see wrestling going on to that. So I imagine that it would be Disney. I would imagine that it would be 20th Century Fox that's buying it and ESPN, because they own ESPN, don't they? So, yeah, I think it would be Disney that would be behind it all. But I've got to stress, it's just rumours. We don't know the truth in it. But we do know that Vince is at, like, his screw it stage is very much like, throwing anything at the wall right now. I mean, I knew that Raw had bad ratings. We consistently on our watch-alongs get about 20,000 people that will join us throughout the whole stream. Obviously, there's people coming and going all the time. But on average, each week, it's around 20,000. And actually, in recent weeks, what with the lockdown, it's been just a little bit more than that. So this past Monday, it was 14,000 people that joined us. So I looked at that and thought, well, either I've done something really wrong with the stream, right? And all of a sudden, like, I've upset a lot of people. Or this is going to be a really bad Raw. This is going to be a very, very low Raw. And lo and behold, I think, is it the lowest rated Raw ever that happened on Monday? I think it's on average got 1.8 million views. I mean, for Raw to be under 2 million is unheard of. And that started happening about a month ago. Now we're at the point where it's 1.8. And make no mistake about it, this is Raw, right? AEW Dynamite has had 1 million viewers in the past. Granted, when it first started, on average, it tends to be about 600,000. But for Raw to be at 1.8 is bad. Like, there's no other way about it. It's bad. So, wrestling right now, they've got to mix it up. They've got to try new things. You can't be giving us 35-minute matches like we had at the start of Raw. I mean, we had a 6-man tag match that just went on forever. And there's not really anything that exciting. There's no big talking points that really come out of the show. I thought the show was average at best. And that was me being really, really kind. So, not only have they got, like, no crowd, but it's just not an exciting show at the moment. But that's why I enjoy Wednesdays, because certainly Wednesdays are exciting. And we are about to go over to both shows. Both shows just starting. Jody says, I'm always here, just not chatting. You lot are awesome. Keep up the good work. I'm always here to support. Shout out to you, Jody. Thank you for joining us. I'm exactly the same, bud. I'm exactly the same. I'm in the chat over on the Insiders and over on £10 a podcast, but sometimes you just want to sit back, don't you? I mean, most of the time I'm editing or doing some research or doing something whilst I'm listening. But sometimes you just want to sit back, don't you? Just watch the show, have a drink, have a chat, have something to eat. So yeah, just do what you need to do, my friend, after the stressful day that you've had. And that is an understatement. Emotional day that you've had. Robert Cameron says, Disney needs content. Less live, more cinematic. Well, if Disney take it, then there's every chance that it all gets drawn. They're just going to start drawing it. Every episode of Raw is just going to be like these characters that get drawn. We're going to have Mickey Mouse against Daffy Duck and stuff like this. Although saying that, Pixar doing... imagine if Pixar did SmackDown. That'd be awesome. Well, I say awesome. It'd be interesting. Right, we've got first match starting on NXT. So there's Charlotte with her new side plates. Jericho on commentary on AEW again. Make a wish. Dave's thoughts on Amanda Nunes possibly joining WWE. I think she is the best ever female UFC fighter, Amanda Nunes. But WWE fans aren't really into MMA fighters coming over. I think the majority of WWE fans don't watch UFC, to be honest, so I don't think they've got that connection. Amanda Nunes is going to be a name that's going to be lost to a lot of people. I don't think she's really transcended UFC quite like Ronda Rousey did. Ronda Rousey, I think, was American. She was cute, and she kind of became bigger than the sport. Plus, also, she was a former Olympian as well. Whereas Amanda Nunes, she's Brazilian. She can speak English, but she's not got to the point where she's transcended the sport. You know, she's not doing bikini shots in Sports Illustrated, let's put it that way. And I'm not saying that she should. She absolutely doesn't have to do those kinds of things. She is, as I said, for me, the best female UFC fighter we've ever seen. So I would love it. I don't know who stops her or who beats her in WWE, because make no mistake about it, she destroys that roster every day of the week. We're talking about like one of the best fighting machines in the world. She's no one in WWE is going to stop Amanda Nunes. So I would be excited. Others wouldn't. Saya Swerve taking on Al Hijo. Is it Phantasma? Who didn't get kidnapped last week. He's come down with a big purple cape. Look at him with his big purple attire and his purple mask. We got Darby Allin coming out over on AEW. So it's going to be Darby Cody. What a great way to start. I'm really into Phantasma. There's obviously been a lot of talk about him and what they're doing with him, so I'm quite intrigued. He was King Cuerno as well in Lucha Underground. For those of you that might be looking and thinking he looks familiar, he was in Lucha Underground. So, I mean, not that that means anything, because of course Ricochet was Prince Puma and they still don't know how to use him. They put him in Two Fly Crew. Hello, famous KJ Carter. Shout out to you. WWE Mayhem. It's the same, just minus the animals. I've not heard of that, to be honest. I will check it out. Mayhem. Has it got, like, career mode and create a superstar and all of that? Right, Cody making his way down with Brandy. Phantasma has got Isaiah Swerve on the outside. Chucks him into the ring. Cody in the ring as well. So we're about to get underway with Cody versus Darby Allin. Brandy Rhodes obviously coming out with him. Darby Allin on the outside. A lot of respect between these two because, of course, they have faced each other before. I believe it ended in a draw. Over on NXT, we got Phantasma, who's getting hung up on the top rope. Big slap across the chest by Isaiah Swerve, Scott. Here we go. Flips up top, looking for a head scissor takedown. Hurricanrana, nice. 2. If you could swap a single wrestler from AEW and NXT, who would you pick and why? Well, I'll let the chat answer that one because I feel like we've answered that quite a few times in the past. So we'll throw that out to the chat. If you could swap a wrestler from AEW and NXT, who would you swap and why? Do you prefer Marvel or DC? if I had to choose, I'd choose DC, because the only thing that I really got into superhero-wise was the Batman films and Gotham. I've never seen Avengers or Thor or Iron Man or any of those. They've just never really interested me. I was never into the comics as a kid. I was into wrestling. So, yeah, I have no emotional connection to Marvel. So I'm not into like the superhero stuff. I think that's why I like Batman. I like Batman because it's kind of based in reality. I mean, I don't know enough about Batman to know that that's true. I just know that Batman is a normal guy that's got a suit and a car. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have superpowers and stuff. And he's got a butler, which is cool. And as we saw in the Joker film, the recent Joker film, I don't believe Joker has got, like, superpowers. Not that I've seen the recent Joker film. It's very high on my priority list. Right, NXT has gone to commercial break, and Darby Allin is in control against Cody, taking the legs away from Cody. Cody kind of backing up into the corner. Cody Rhodes and Keithley, because I think Cody could help NXT, and Keithley and Moxley would be lit, says Scott. That's very cool. Diz says Kenny Omega and Finn Balor. He'd swap them over. Finn Balor in AEW would be excellent. And actually, Kenny in NXT would be a lot of fun as well. Jericho just mentioned Xavier Woods. Good choice. Batman is mine as well, says your boy. Days Abby's window was great. Oh, yes, I agree, Jerry. I was listening to it before we started the stream. I always enjoy that show. Oh, Darby goes into Brandy. Why is Cody not checking on her? Why is Cody not checking on her? He just kicks Darby out the way, and now he finally goes over to Brandy, but Brandy goes down. Oh, no. That's bad news. He kind of like moved out the way and he helped Darby. He didn't really help him. Oh, he kind of did help him. I don't think he... And this is good. Cody now stomping on Darby. It was just a mistake, but that's going to fire him up. Kick to the sternum. And I think we're going to commercial break on AEW as well. Days, do you think Keithley will lose the North American title? I hope not. I hope not. Days, have you seen the John Wick series? I have not. Nope. I haven't. Is that based in reality? I'm not really into like the supernatural stuff. I've always kind of shied away from that in wrestling as well, as I've said. But I feel the same when it comes to like the superhero films. I'm much more like the vigilante kind of characters. I'm way more into that. So I love Batman. I really want to see that Joker film. Really want to see the Joker film. And no, John Wick's. I don't even know if I've seen the trailer. I've seen the front cover because again I used to work in an entertainment store, so I've sold many a copy of it and I've put many a copy onto the shelves. So I know what it looks like. But I don't know that I've seen the trailer. Days, I would swap Guevara for Kushida. I'm not sure about Sammy Guevara. I think he's got great potential, but he's not someone that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch Sammy Guevara, if you know what I mean. I think he's just a decent heel. But I think Kushida is something very special. Very, very special, and we're not getting the most out of Kushida at the moment. There's no red-hot feuds for him. I mean, it's a horrible time in wrestling, full stop. Because how can you build up storylines at this time? It's very difficult, but it is what it is. Look, we're back underway on NXT. AEW is still at commercial break. We've got Isaiah Swerve working on the arm. He's got a hammerlock on Phantasma. Don't forget, tomorrow we do have a live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow we're actually going to be doing a watch-along for Royal Rumble 2000, an Attitude Era Royal Rumble. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to start at 11 UK time, which I think is 6 Eastern, which is our normal time that we start. And I'm really looking forward to it. Royal Rumbles are always fun. I can't remember who's in that one. Yeah, well, it's obviously going to be all your Attitude Era superstars. This was obviously just before WrestleMania 2000. So it's going to be the build towards that WrestleMania, aka WrestleMania 16. Never gets called WrestleMania 16. It's WrestleMania 2000, isn't it? So yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Looking forward to that tomorrow. Right, we're back underway with both shows. Nice takedown, Isaiah Swerve. Middle of the ring, Phantasma going up top. Still Cody in control on AEW. Here we go, big frog splash. Not perfect from Phantasma. Kick out by Isaiah Swerve. Over on AEW, we've got Cody kicking away at Darby. Not really anything too extreme in that match so far. Just pretty heavy hitting, just knee strikes and lots of clubbing blows. Against the ropes goes Darby and another knee strike to the midsection by Cody. Over on NXT, forearm strikes back and forth by Phantasma and Isaiah Swerve. Monica King says it's not got any supernatural stuff. It's all reality based. That's right up my street then, Monica. I'll add it to the list. Darby trying to get a quick pin on Cody. Kick to the midsection again by Cody. Sonny Wolf says, I live near a dollar store. I need to get a new sketchbook and stuff. Here we go. Nice German suplex by Isaiah Swerve on NXT. Phantasma down. Again, Cody in control. He's got Darby Allin backed into the corner with an elbow across the back of the head as Phantasma goes to the outside on NXT. You've got Isaiah Swerve going against the ropes, looking to go over the top. Oh, he does! Lands on his feet. Phantasma now back in the ring with a suicide dive. He takes out Isaiah Swerve. Both are down. Cody has been clubbing away and finally starts going for some pins on Darby Allin. Darby Allin getting his shoulder up. Tony says, John Wick, you just made the list. Yeah, there's a few things on the list, actually. A few non-wrestling things. I watched, I want to watch the new Michael Moore film that came out on YouTube. Isaiah Swerve literally just rolls up Phantasma. Looked a bit like a crucifix. But he gets the pin. He gets the pin. He gets the win. Phantasma loses. Isaiah Swerve Scott picks up the victory. It's an alright match. Pretty standard affair for NXT. Diz, shout out to you, my friend. Days, Batman Earth 99 is supernatural. Well, I'll avoid that then. Days, did you hear that Vince has high hopes for Cal Bloom? Yes. Shout out to C Wrestling. So they're now 1-1. Isaiah Swerve has 1 win, 1 loss. So does Phantasma. Isaiah Swerve says he's got all the respect for Phantasma. I need this more than everybody. Okay, Darby is starting to come back into this. Isaiah Swerve says 1-1 and he's got 1 more to go. Darby going over but runs into a back elbow. Cody going up top but he gets caught by Darby. Darby grabbing the legs. We're just seeing Adam Cole. That's quite fun. I love that graphic. A little graphic of Adam Cole. He was kind of standing to the side, and then he just kind of looked, and then he does the Undisputed Era sign. Candice LeRae in action. Obviously, we saw last week a more heel Candice and heel Johnny. So we're going to commercial break on NXT. Candice LeRae in action. Don't know who against. Over on AEW, Darby has got Cody tied up a bit here. He's working on the legs. He's going for... Oh, slams the knee down onto the ring mat. We're still well underway with this first match. John Elite says, Days just watched a video about AEW wrestlers when they were in WWE. Some wrestlers, including MJF as a bodyguard for Samoa Joe's entrance back at TakeOver, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. Cool. Exception Gaming says, Days, who do you reckon Adam Cole will face as Dream is out of the picture? Is it too soon for Loomis? Maybe Balor? Yeah, maybe Balor. I don't actually know what's happening with Balor. I mean, Balor got attacked, didn't he, the other week? And they're kind of selling a bit of an injury thing for him. So I'm not sure he's going to come back and challenge Adam Cole right now. It's uncharted waters, isn't it? I mean, there's so much going on that they can't prepare for. They obviously couldn't prepare for the coronavirus. They couldn't prepare for people getting stuck in different countries. And they certainly couldn't prepare for these allegations against the Velveteen Dream. So, to be honest, I don't know that they know right now as to who could challenge. Maybe Keith loses the title tonight and Keith goes after the big one. It's really, really hard to say. Predicting the future right now is close to impossible. There's just so many moving parts. It's really, really difficult thing to do. So, yeah, could be Finn. Might not be Finn. Could be Keith. Might not be Keith. I would feel it's too soon for Dexter Loomis. Yes, we haven't really seen anything from him yet, so I can't see it being him. Right, both shows are at commercial break right now. Jerry says, I think that Brandy is going to turn on Cody after what he just did. Ooh. Hayden Garrett, shout out to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Days, do you know what UK channel AEW is on? If you want to watch it live, I believe you have to get the Fight TV app, which is how I watch it. I think you can watch it. You used to be able to watch it on ITV4, I think it was, but I don't know if that relationship hasn't finished now, to be honest. So you might not even be able to watch it on there anymore. Fight TV app is what you need. But you do have to pay like $4.99 a month. Adam Cole, Becky Lynch, Bayley, they need to lose the titles as soon as possible. Everything seems stale because of them. Don't know. I'm a fan of long title reigns. I feel like the longer that you hold a title, the more legitimate the superstar becomes. I feel like Bayley now is actually starting to get to the point where people are starting to take her heel run seriously, because she's defended it a few times now and she's been successful. Like getting that win at WrestleMania was quite a big deal for her to survive that multi-person match. So to take it off her now, I would worry would be too soon, actually. I'm a big fan of lengthy title reigns. So I'm not sure. I think there's plenty of feuds and stories that could be told. Dajkovic says that Johnny Gargano doesn't respect anyone. Last week, Johnny rambled on. We're back underway. Double clothesline on AEW between Darby and Cody. Next week, let's see if Johnny can back up his words, says Dajkovic. So, Dajkovic, if issuing a challenge... We've got Tom Phillips as well on NXT. Of course, there's no Mauro Ranallo at the moment. Or I think Nigel McGuinness must be stuck in the UK. During commercial, Phantasma was talking. Are they going to try and kidnap him again? Here they are again. Look, the kidnappers trying to get at Phantasma. And again, they've been foiled. Again, that's the second time they've been foiled now. So, Mauro is on commentary. I don't believe he's there, though. I think, is he recording it from home? Pint-sized poison. Candice LeRae. This is new. Pint-sized poison? New music and everything for Candice. She's got, like, that dirty purple hair. The poison pixie. And here's Johnny. Johnny doing some promo work as Candice gets into the ring. This is interesting presentation. Johnny doing Candice's entrance. Figure 4. This match still going, by the way. Many of us don't recognize Candice LeRae anymore. New attitude. Brandy making her way out. Oh, it's against Casey Catanzaro. Casey Catanzaro versus Candice LeRae. She is about to get battered. Casey Catanzaro. She's very good. I think she's still going... Is she still with Ricochet? We've seen Candice in Royal Rumbles. And Casey. Azure, I think, is the ref for this one. Azure Smith. Springboard. Looking for a back elbow. Clothesline by Cody. So, Cody down, Darby down, Brandy has come back out on AEW. This match has been going for a good 20-odd minutes. Chalmers says, this is pretty cool. Here we go, look, Cody picking up Darby. I'm trying to keep an eye on this match because I feel like we've got to be getting towards the end. I mean, we've got to be reaching a time limit. Oh, lovely stunner by Darby. Springboard moonsault, but gets caught. Crossroads. Crossroads by Cody on Darby. 1, 2. Oh, and he kicks out. Darby kicks out of the Crossroads. Over on NXT, we're well underway with Casey versus Candice. Little German suplex type move. Didn't quite have much snap on it by Casey, who goes into the corner back. Snapmare by Candice. Up top goes Cody. Is he going to do a coffin drop? Is he going to do... He is, you know. Coffin drop by Cody. So he literally just gets up top and jumps backwards. But Darby hits one of his own. Cody reverses it. Cody manages to get the win. So Cody wins the match. So Cody does a coffin drop. Darby gets his knees up. That allows Darby to hit the coffin drop, but Cody just turns him over and pins him. That's quite a flaw in the coffin drop, isn't it? He just hit his finishing move seemingly perfectly, and it got reversed into a pin by Cody. So, a decent match, a very good match, but I'm left a little bit confused by that finish. Because he seemed like he hit it perfect. Well, if he hit it perfect, shouldn't he win? Because that's his finisher. How did Cody manage to get it into a pin? MJF injury update, plus we've got Wardlow in action on AEW. Over on NXT, Casey Catanzaro getting slammed face first. Johnny watching on still at ringside. 1, 2, kick out by Candice. Collides into Casey as AEW goes to commercial break. Jason says AEW just ruined the TNT tournament. AEW will put the belt on Cody. I don't mind Cody winning. I don't quite understand how Darby can hit his finishing move seemingly perfectly and it just gets reversed. I'm not sure about that. It doesn't really help put over the coffin drop, if you know what I mean. Here we go. She's got it tied up. Oh, beautiful kick to the back, and Casey goes face first. Candice with the pin. There's the 3 count. Candice beats Casey Catanzaro. The Poison Pixie. The Poison Pixie. And next week we're going to see the bad boy, Johnny Gargano, taking on Dijakovic by the look of it. Cody will face Lance Archer, which makes sense as Jake has been feuding with Cody since his debut. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm down with that. I think Lance will progress. Dustin didn't say that he would retire if he lost tonight, which I think just leaves the door open to him losing. Oh, Candice is like, hang on, no, hang on, I'm not leaving yet. She gets right back into the ring, goes back over, and reapplies the Gargano escape onto Casey Catanzaro. Casey still tapping away. I'd love it if Ricochet came down now. That'd be sick. And Johnny jumps in the ring, looks on lovingly. And Candice just gives him a little kiss on the cheek. This is the new Gargano way. There we go. Heel Johnny. Heel Candice. We got Damian Priest backstage. I do like Damian Priest. He's got a great voice. My moment has arrived. Keith. Dustin has announced his last match will be at Double or Nothing. Has he? I haven't seen that. I haven't seen him say that his last match will be at Double or Nothing. Was that on Twitter? Archer should win and keep it for a year with an undefeated streak until Rusev comes in and beats him. I could see Rusev join him. Days, how are you keeping up with both AEW and NXT? Oh, it's pretty straightforward. There's tons of commercial breaks. So it doesn't make it too difficult. When there's a commercial break, my attention just flips over to the other show. And I just tend to try and keep up with whatever I think is the most exciting thing that's happening at that time. We've got commercial break for NXT right now. Over on AEW, we've just got a little look at SCU. Just a little kind of profile video package on them. What the hell was Damien talking about? NXT is good so far. Who agrees? Yeah, it's decent. It's decent. I think there's been some interesting stuff. I think the first match was all right. I think that the new presentation of Candice is good. And, of course, we've still got Charlotte to come. We've still got that North American Championship match as well. So, yeah, I think the card looked good. Days, I'm not being very active in the chat, but I'm still here watching along. Yeah, no worries, dude. Shout out to you. Only 10 more days until one of the most stacked UFC cards. I am so pumped for that UFC card. UFC 249 on May 9th. Money in the Bank May 10th. That weekend. I can't even begin to tell you. I might even, for the first time, well, I don't even know if it's the first time. It might be the second time. Do a predictions video for that UFC show. That's how excited I am. I want to talk about it. We got MJF giving us a little injury update. So I think he's saying that his back. It's quite laggy. I've got to say that the audio is out of sync with the picture on Fight, and I can see other people saying the same thing. So he's got a neck brace on. Days, when will we actually see Cross and Scarlett in NXT? I'd imagine very soon. They've attacked Ciampa, so I'm not sure what the next thing is they've got planned. Days, what if WWE goes on a downward spiral and Vince goes crazy? Stuff like the awful booking decisions that WCW did in their last years. Well, this is what I think we need to prepare ourselves for, because apparently a lot of the talk is that he is very much now just try stuff. Just try stuff. When Triple H said, "What do you want the Boneyard match to be like?" He says, "I don't know, just make it good." Like, that is so not Vince. Vince normally has, like, big production meetings and it's all storyboarded or played out, or, you know, they've got a good idea. And then he'll change his mind 20 times after that. So for him to turn around to Triple H and go, don't know, just give me something good. We've got Thatcher and Riddle just doing a promo. Who's this? Musa? Musa making his way out. Where's Musa from? Okay, so Matt Riddle says tonight we're going to prove to the world that we're the best tag team. The Newly Bros show. They're trying some comedy. They're trying some humor on NXT. We got Matt Riddle and Thatcher. Oh, it's Byron Saxton. Welcome to the Newly Bro show. Okay, look, they're trying. There's fake noises being piped in. Wardlow versus Musa. They said one time, the rumor is you pulled an eye out of someone's socket. Is this true? And he's like, yeah. And it's just all quiet. Newly. I think this is just a way to try and introduce us to Timothy Thatcher. God, this is exactly the kind of thing that Byron Saxton was born to do. This kind of cheesy game show kind of thing. This is up Byron Saxton Street. Okay. It's like Mr. and Mrs. What did you have for breakfast this morning? So, Matt's written down what he's had for breakfast. And now Timothy Thatcher's like, I don't know. And that's exactly what Matt Riddle had written. No idea, bro. Bro. I don't even know what I had for breakfast. Bro. This is alright, you know. Okay, here we go. Next question. What's your favourite TV show? Please say AEW. Please say AEW. They're not gonna, but just for mega lols. Timothy Thatcher says he doesn't own a TV. The Price is Right is Matt Riddle's favourite TV show. Bro is high. Byron's like, does that mean you've never Netflix and chilled? What was that? Ugh. I'm going to have nightmares about that. Does that mean you've never Netflixed and chilled? Right, question number 3. Here we go. Here we go. Where? Where is the craziest place you've done it? Wrestle. He said he had a triple threat in a laundromat. And Matt Riddle wrote threesome on a washer. His suit. Yeah, his suit is awful. Cheap. Looks cheap. You can now play for the big money. Over on AEW, we're seeing some flim-flamming. Speed is not my thing. It's a speed round. And Matt Riddle says, bro, speed is not my thing. But Imperium have attacked from behind. I kind of felt like that segment was losing its humour a little bit. It's good at the start, and then it just started to drift a little bit. Like, I wasn't finding it laugh out loud. But Imperium have come down. Oh, that was nasty, man. This is what I want to see. I want to see Timothy Thatcher getting in there with Imperium. Thatcher, as we said, a brilliant wrestler. A proper wrestler. Great talent. The kind of talent that Vince McMahon just won't know what to do with. Timothy Thatcher is a wrestler. He is not a sports entertainer. Thatcher belongs in the territories. Thatcher belongs in NWA. Here we go. Lovely work here by Eichner and Barcel. Big uppercut and Thatcher goes down. Matt Riddle got slammed hard over the railing. I hope there was a crash mat there. Look brutal. AEW, by the way, has got commercial break. I think Wardlow beat that Musa guy. think it was just a squash. Imperium with those tag titles looks pretty good to me. Look at that. Eichner and Bartel holding up those tag titles. Dun, 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 dun. Days, could we ever see Byron Saxton versus Corey Graves at WrestleMania? I suppose both have been wrestlers. I hope not. It's not a match I want to see. There's Mia Yim. Mia Yim backstage. I love her music. Can Mia Yim take her star to the next level? Coming up next, Charlotte Flair. I'm actually clapping. I didn't even know I was doing it. I'm just sat here. That's how excited I am. I'm like, yeah! I am looking forward to this match. Charlotte versus Mia Yim. I like Mia Yim. I think she's a great talent. And I got to tell you, I like Charlotte. I thought she had the best match at WrestleMania. Charlotte versus Mia Yim. AEW is at commercial break. So is NXT. It's just a little bit early for our halftime scores. We've got about 15 minutes to go. AEW has come back, though. We got the Bubbly Bunch. I never understood why Saxton stopped wrestling. I don't know if there wasn't injuries or something. I'm not sure. Jason says Mia Yim is a good wrestler. I agree. John Elite says, did Timothy Thatcher get a haircut? I honestly don't know. I am a big fan of wrestling, but keeping an eye on Timothy Thatcher's hairstyles is a level that I'm hoping to get to in the future. So I honestly can't recall. There's lots of college players did not make it to the NFL. Should AEW pick them up? I don't know. Wrestling is it's an art. It's a skill. I mean, how many college players do you see WWE picking up? And then they train in the performance center, and then you never see them. It's because it takes a special something to become a wrestler. To tell those stories, to have that athleticism. Yes, if there's American footballers that want to give it a go and are going to be committed and are going to learn, and then yeah. But it takes so long to do. You're not going to get a star in 2020. You're going to have to work with them and hope you get something good in 2021. Days, do you think that Vince might turn Keithley into a comedy act? Says Febin. I don't know. I think you've got to fear. You've got to fear any call-up, haven't you? Because the thing is that when they move from NXT and they go to Raw or SmackDown, they completely change, don't they? They completely change their gimmicks. Not all the time, but I mean... We've seen it time after time after time where they don't carry on the stories. I mean, look at War Raiders. War Raiders changed their name. They were the War Raiders when they were in NXT and they were really cool. And now they're the Viking Raiders. Doing weird things in cars. But I got high hope for Bianca Belair. I think they can see that the gimmick she had in NXT works. Vicky Guerrero on AEW. They're just talking about Make-A-Wish on NXT. So, just before we get to Mia Yim and Charlotte, we're just going to have a look at Make-A-Wish. Got a little Make-A-Wish thing. We've still got the Bubbly Bunch. That's just come to an end. So, are we going over to a match now on AEW? Yes, Jimmy Havoc is making his way out. Right, Jimmy, Havoc, and... I can't remember who it was. Sammy? Was it Sammy? I had it written down. Kip Sabian versus Best Friends. There we go. Obviously, we saw Orange Cassidy and Jimmy Havoc last week. So I think, there could be a little bit more to that story. So Orange Cassidy about to make his way out. We got Adam Cole. Tony, I actually did a video on what the rumors are as to who's kidnapping people. So there's a video on the channel about that. Adam Cole says the Dream doesn't deserve a shot. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show out. So So it looks like we're still pushing forward with the Dream thing. He's talking to the Velveteen Dream. I'm not expecting to see the Velveteen Dream. Cole, Dream, next week. It's being advertised. Adam Cole versus the Velveteen Dream next week. Some pretty serious allegations made. I mean, I know they're being investigated. I know the police are involved, but... Right, Mia Yim making her way down. Vape Ross Vape says AEW is having a great night. Both shows are doing well, actually. I'm enjoying both shows. Mia Yim making her way down. There's a heard rumours that WWE are being sold. They are just that, just rumours at this stage. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so Mia Yim in the ring. We're waiting for Charlotte Flair. Here we go. Gotta say, it does feel big having Charlotte. And she's got beautiful black robe. The NXT Championship around her waist. Orange Cassidy down on AEW. Five years in the making, and they have been building this matchup for a few weeks. Very, very interested to see the ratings when they come out. I think AEW will win overall. I'd love to know the ratings right now. I think people will tune in for Charlotte. Mia Yim got a little smirk on her face. Charlotte looks like an absolute $1 million. Beautiful robe. Definitely carries herself like a champion. I know there's a lot of criticism that things get handed to her, but she is a very good wrestler, as he said. Her against Rhea Ripley was my match of WrestleMania. I genuinely thought it was the best match. I don't believe the title is on the line. I believe this is a non-title match, but a big smile on the face of Charlotte. This is going to be very good, very competitive. This is the kind of thing you would see at a takeover. This is a takeover match that you're getting right now on NXT. Backed into the corner, Mia Yim. Zykami says EO is going to be watching this. You're absolutely right. We might even see EO at some point. EO is #1 contender. Nice headlock by Charlotte. Here we go. Against the ropes. And again, keeping that headlock on. They're fighting on the outside on AEW. Jimmy Havoc with a load of chairs. Chucking them into the ring. Big chop by Charlotte. And again, Mia Yim goes down. A ladder being thrown into the ring by Jimmy Havoc. Here we go. Charlotte going into the corner. Up, over the top, just like her dad. Nice. Shoulder into the midsection. Dives through the ropes. Rolls up Mia Yim. Gets a 2 count. Went for a big boot. Mia Yim moves out the way. Some big left hands coming right into the chin and onto the throat by Mia Yim. Spinning back kick. Nice. Cannonball into the corner by Mia Yim. Days, when Charlotte loses the NXT title, do you think that she will stay on NXT or go back to SmackDown or Raw? It's a good question. I would think she would. It depends when. I could see Charlotte staying in for a few months. Here we go, club across the back. Charlotte earned a lot by her talent. Having a famous wrestler as your dad didn't work for Rhodes, did it? That's a good point. Through the ropes goes Charlotte. Mia Yim against the ropes. Big right hand by Charlotte. Mia Yim goes down. As we go to commercial break. So commercial break. It's an alright match so far. Over on AEW. You got chairs and ladders and Trent is down in the ring. Jimmy Havoc going over. Days WWE shop new Undertaker. New Undertaker what, Brandon? Rusty doing alright-ish, waiting for emails. Did she pull Andrade? What do you mean? They are seeing each other. What? When she went out the ring? Oh, could you imagine if she lay on the ring and went full on Tranquilo? That'd be awesome. Jimmy Havoc is setting up a ladder in the corner. Trent is in the one corner. Havoc gets thrown into him, but big boot, back elbow. Trent starting to fight back. Double knees, though, by Kip Sabian. 1, 2. And Chucky T coming in and making the save. This match still going on. We've got commercial break for NXT right now. Almost at the halfway point. We've got about 5 minutes to go, and then we can get the halftime scores. I do think both shows actually have been decent tonight. As good as, you can expect with no crowd. Days, don't you think Vince trying to sell WWE is also like him conceding defeat to AEW in a way? No. I don't think they're connected at all. I really don't. Because first of all, it's just a rumor. And second of all, if he is looking to sell, then it'll be because of everything that's gone on with WrestleMania and the XFL. AEW, it's not a factor. AEW is just battling away with NXT. Nice German suplex by Trent. Spoiler, next week I make my AEW appearance as a jobber for Jon Moxley. Well, good luck to you. People hate it if wrestlers win too much, yet they complain about star power. Wonder why wrestling is going downhill, says WrestleFactor. Andrew says, have you seen the new Dark Side of the Ring? No. I don't get a chance to watch the new ones because I never get a chance to watch them live on Vice, and then I've got no idea where you can watch them and catch up with them, to be honest. So I've not. There's a lot of the new series I've not seen. I'd like to see it. But the interesting thing about that slap is not so much the slap itself, but what happens after. And he was kind of tricked in a way, wasn't he, when he goes to Japan? But I won't say any more for anyone that's not seen it. Rusty Shackelford. Dude. No one. Let this be known. Tells Rusty what to do. Shout out to you, Rusty. I'm just putting a thank you at the bottom for you. So, shout out to Rusty Shackelford. Very, very kind, my friend. Very, very kind. Hope you were well, Rusty. You know that you don't have to be doing that. But big, big shout out to Rusty Shackelford. Rusty Shackelford saying hi days and hi to everyone in the community. So big shout out to all of you from Rusty Shackelford 360. Shout out to you, Rusty. AEW isn't what they said it would be. It's just WWE 2.0, says Tommy. Right, we're back underway with Mia Yim and Charlotte. Of the two matches on right now, that's the one that's probably got my attention a bit more. Knee strikes coming in by Mia Yim. And, no way! She's trying to get Charlotte. Tied up on the ropes. Flashbacks of Tajiri with the tarantula. And elbow coming in by Charlotte. Not a move that you see Mia Yim using all that often. Arms behind the back from Charlotte. She looks like she's part of Imperium. Everyone down on AEW. As soon as we get past these matches, I will come to you guys for the scores. Right now, Charlotte is just stomping away on Mia Yim. Grabbing Mia Yim. Going for a big forearm strike. Mia Yim firing some forearms. Back of her own. Charlotte pushing her away. Goes for a big strike. Oh, lovely move by Mia Yim, who drives her boot into the face of Charlotte. Nice. Backbreaker. Face first. Charlotte trying to fight back. Oh, pile driver onto a chair by Chucky T, and Penelope Ford pulling at his leg, trying to drag him out of the ring. Face first goes Charlotte over on NXT. 2. Days, is Drake Maverick on this week? Yes, apparently so. Against Tony Nese, and I would expect him to win. If he loses, then I don't think he can win his group. So I'm not expecting him to lose. Oh, walls! Walls by Charlotte! Oh, but reversed by Mia Yim into a pin. Kick out. Charlotte with a big boot. Mia Yim goes down. Single leg pin. Kick out again by Mia Yim. Laughter on the face of Charlotte. I think she's having a lot of fun in there. I think she's just really enjoying it. And you know what? It's a good match. Here we go. Going for a figure 4. Small package. Roll up. Mia Yim on top. Kick out by Charlotte. Going for a clothesline. Oh, slam Charlotte down. Roll Charlotte over. Going for an... No, she was going for the arm, but it gets reversed by Charlotte, who puts on the figure 4. She's going to bridge into the 8. Ah, Mia Yim taps. Mia Yim taps. There we go. Mia Yim taps. Charlotte Flair wins. Do you know what? For a little NXT match, that was a lot of fun. I think Charlotte could have an incredible NXT takeover match. Are we going to see Io Shirai come out? We know that's the next challenger. Best Friends getting the victory on AEW. So Charlotte out the ring, and here's Io. Io's music plays. How cool is Io Shirai? You don't need to answer that. Very. Waving her arms around, screaming. Next week. Next week, you are mine. Big smile on her face. Big smile on her face. Charlotte. Walking away. There we go. Next week, Io Shirai versus Charlotte Flair. Right. Oh, hello. Is this a Karrion Kross promo, first of all? Let's have a look at this promo. I think it's a promo we might have seen before. Next week, time's up. He's coming. Tick-tock. Next week, Karrion Kross. Oh, daddy. Right, get your scores in. Get your scores in. What do you score AE dubs? What do you score NXTs? What are you scoring things? What are you scoring things? Shout out to you, Junior Mendoza. Can't wait to see what they've got in store for Money in the Bank, says WrestleFactor. Next week, says Sandman882. Both NXT titles on the line next week. Gargano versus Dijakovic. This looks like a takeover, says Andy. That's true, actually, yeah. They really are throwing a lot into next week, aren't they? Next Wednesday looks huge. Tick-tock. So we've got Killer Kross next week. Io versus Charlotte. We've got Velveteen and Adam Cole. We've got Johnny against Dijakovic. It does feel like a takeover. 7 for both, says Ryan. 6.5 for NXT, AEW 7. Both 9, says Andrew W. DJ B Tazzy says next week's NXT is looking good. John Elite says 8 for both. John says NXT 8. Junior Mendoza says 9. Ben Russell says 7.5 for NXT. Brandon Lewis 10 out of 10. Sonny Wolf says 7 out of 10 for AEW and NXT. I would probably agree with that, actually. I feel like there's not been anything like spectacular on either show. There's nothing that I'm freaking out about. I think both shows have been fine. Like, fine. Good. Not great. Just good. But I think in this day and age, with what's happening in the world, you really appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been enjoyable to watch so far. So, 7.5 says Ben Russell. Go down to some of the recent ones. NXT gets an 8.5 from me, says Rusty Shackelford. Shout out to you, Rusty. No one tells Rusty what to do, and I'm not going to disagree with Rusty either. There we go. If Rusty says it's 8.5, it's 8.5. Days, I doubt WWE would give us Dream Lashley Lesnar feud we want, considering the way Lashley is being booked. Yeah, I can't see that coming anytime soon. Kevin says NXT 8, AEW 4. We are just seeing Dr. Britt Baker So Britt Baker says, this is my... I mean, you got Britt Baker getting the makeup lady's name wrong. Britt was walking in the background. I gotta say, AEW does comedy so much better than WWE. First of all, it does it. And then second of all, when it does it, it is actually funny. We're backstage. Casey is being looked over. Candice telling the ladies, get used to it. Last week, obviously, Finn Balor getting attacked. Days, do you think the talk between CM Punk and Will Ospreay will develop further more, considering it started in April? I don't think so. I don't think so. Coaster Maniacs says, had to leave for a second, but I'm back now. Daily dose of days. No one derails the coaster, besides my wife. Much love. Keep doing what you're doing, dude. That is incredible. Finn Balor is back next week as well. Thank you to Coaster Maniacs. There's a real battle going on between Coaster Maniacs and Rusty Shackelford in our chat. Dexter Loomis is here, guys. Love his music. Love this guy. Dexter Loomis is here. Coaster Maniacs, thank you so much. You know you don't have to do it. You know that it's greatly appreciated. And I said before, straight after, Coaster Maniacs has got an interview with Insiders Wrestling Podcast. So if you want to find out more about Coaster Maniacs, then you can. He is going to be doing that interview. So obviously the community is going to go and hang out there in about an hour's time. So Coaster Maniacs has got a big interview after this, and this weekend I will be doing a live stream with Coaster Maniacs on Coaster Maniacs channel. So yeah, make sure that you check that out. Okay, so fun little moment there with Britt Baker. We've got Shane Thorn taking on Dexter Loomis. Days Dexter. I know, dude. I'm really excited. We've seen Shane Thorn on, was it Raw? Is now being managed by MVP. Right, we've got Shawn Spears. Who's Shawn Spears facing? Yeah, there does seem to be a split in the community now. We've got people cheering for Rusty. We've got people cheering for Coaster Maniacs. It's like Shackelford Rebellion versus the Coaster Maniacs. That's what it is. There's like two tribes starting to form. I actually don't know who they facing. I don't know if they announced who Shawn Spears is taking on. Some kind of jobber, I believe. Someone I've not seen before. Right, Dexter Loomis. So, again, shout out to Rusty that shouted out everyone in the community. So did Coaster Maniacs. Oh, Dexter collides. You know that Dexter was named after Dexter. You know that happened. And there we go. He goes straight over, stalking Shane Thorn. Bang! Big strike to the midsection. And again. Dexter just staring at the ref. Face first. Kick to the back. Obviously, Shane Thorn has been active in NXT for a long time. WrestleFactor says, I'm Team Coaster Maniacs. Tony is Team Coaster Maniacs. Whoa, I do not want to be starting division in the chat. Dramas. Here we go, Dexter. Oh, that was good from Shane Thorn. As he got planted over the top, he kind of raked the eyes of Dexter Lumis. Uppercut by Shane Thorn. It's the knockoff New Day symbol on his baton black outfit. Oh, right, on AEW. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, Shane Thorn with a cannonball in the corner. Dexter Lumis in a little bit of trouble here, but Shane Thorn has got a lot of experience. Used to be in TM61. And then they changed their name to the Mighty. Look at his eyes. Look at Dexter Lumis's eyes. Massive spine buster by Lumis. His hair is so on point. Adam Rotella is destroying Shane Thorn right now. Grabbing the hair of Shane Thorn. Wide-eyed, just staring at him. Bang. Arm triangle. And I think Shane Thorn, is he fading here? He's going out. He's going out. You can see that he's fading in the middle of the ring. Dexter Lumis. Choking the life out of Shane Thorn. Squeezing away. I love how long this is lasting. Called it. She's called it. Lumis wins. He's a bad man. With great music. And lovely hair. Talk about unsettling. Look, and he's like, he's got Shane Thorn's head, and he was just kind of just gently just stroking the hair. He was like staring off into the dark. I do love that guy. A win for Shawn Spears as well. Chalmers says, what did I miss after the Charlotte Mia match? We found out that Finn Balor is going to be in action next week, or we're going to see Finn Balor next week. And Dexter Lumis has just choked out Shane Thorn. Days, why is Shane Thorn here if he is a part of Raw? Well, they're just, I suppose, having to use whoever is around, aren't they? So if Shane Thorn was available and around, then why not? Been watching the interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament. I've got to say, some great heart on display. Lads fighting for their professional lives. Who will be crowned the ultimate sham? Who's going to want the real Cruiserweight champ when he gets back? And they're showing this completely tasteless WWE.com exclusive interview where Jake Atlas is cutting a promo with Drake Maverick. And the rumors are that Drake Maverick still hasn't re-signed.
Understandably, Drake Maverick has his doubts, but he has to remember he's still in this tournament. Can Maverick get his first win of the tournament against former Cruiserweight champion?
So, Drake Maverick coming up next. So, Drake Maverick against Tony Nese. Same. Yeah, boy. Days, next week is looking like a stacked show. Really is. Next week's NXT looks like one for the ages. Shout out again to Rusty Shackelford and Coaster Maniacs. Both of you absolutely incredible. There's not really much more I can say other than just a big thank you. As we said with Coaster Maniacs, the Insider's interview with him is straight after the shows tonight. We're going to be sticking around for about 10-15 minutes after so that I can get your thoughts, get your scores on both of the shows. We can just talk about anything we need to talk about. There's not really been massive talking points so far tonight. I think the big talking point is how stacked next week's NXT looks. So, yeah, whatever. Anything that's about to happen or whatever we can talk about. But then, as we said, we will jump over to the Insider's interview, which I believe starts at 15:15. So just under an hour. We've got less than an hour to go, my friends. Less than an hour to go. Tony says TikTok. Yes, of course, Karrion Kross will be appearing next week on NXT. Days, will you take your beanie off? I've taken my beanie off many, many times in the past. Many times. It's no great secret. I hope they don't ruin the Dexter character, says Michael. We all do. Liam says, I am Team Coasters Shackelford. I'm torn. Wrestling Days fan says, I really like NXT tonight. What happened to Candice? Did she turn heel on Johnny? No, she's turned heel with Johnny. They've both gone to a dark place. So, no, they're very much together. United in misery and pain. Both shows, by the way, are at commercial break, which is why I can't really tell you of anything that's going on, because there's nothing going on. NXT at a commercial break. We know that we've still got the North American Championship to come. Moda jumping in as well. Team Moda is for everyone. We all love one another here. We are all one community and one love. Let's get together and feel all right. I'm sensing some Marley quotes there, my friend. But, wow, a big thank you to Moda. Unbelievable support from you guys. It makes a massive, massive difference. As I said, not anything that we ask for or encourage, and just blows my mind how supportive everyone is. So, absolutely incredible. So, thank you to William. Let me jump down into the chat. So, thank you to Jody Gilly. Thank you to William Hensey. Thank you to Rusty Shackelford 360. He's everywhere. He's all around us. Thank you to Coaster Maniacs. And a thank you to Moda. Moda in the house. Moda entering the arena. I don't think that Moda is starting up a faction. I don't think we've got another Shackelford rebellion on our hands. But Moda definitely stepping in to grab some of the limelight. We've got Keithley cutting a promo right now. Has he got a sore throat? He seems to be struggling to talk, Keithley. Okay, so Tony Nese, Drake Maverick is coming up now. As I said, I'm expecting Drake to win this. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. The premier athlete. John says, Team John, maybe, please. Team John, yes. I think you will get a lot of support, buddy. Mr. Fun Size, not you, John. Marko Stunt has come down. So Marko Stunt making his way down. We know that Marko is going to be taking on Brody Lee. Vape Ross Vape says Team VRV for the poor folks, sons of the plumbers. American dream. He's just a common man, working hard with his hands. Oh, he's an American dream. The dream, the dream. Yes. I'm feeling inspired. It doesn't mean I can sing, but I'm feeling inspired. We're underway with Tony Knee Straight Maverick. We've got Brody Lee making his way down, just staring at Fun Size Marko Stunt. We've got Mr. Fun Size taking on the Exalted One. They are still saying those things about Drake. I'm not even listening anymore. I've given up. If they're doing it to drum up support for Drake, it's completely going to backfire on him, I think. Well, actually, I say that. It probably won't. There's probably a lot of people that are like still watching this, but not seeing what's happening. I mean, I can't believe it. WWE fire someone, announce it along with all these other people, and then try to make a story out of it. As I said, even if they take him back, all they've done is correct the thing they did wrong in the first place. Here we go. Big chop by Brody. Fun Size goes over to the other side. Days, my faction is the best. Don't turn your back on the Swamp Pack. Big slam down by Tony Nese. I'm just sensing a little faction war within the chat. I'm not trying to encourage that, but there's just a lot of little, back elbow by Brody. Hurls Marko over the ring. Marko down in the corner. Brody just staring. I mean, he is looking like an absolute monster. Brody jumps out the ring. Walking round on the outside. Slowly. NXT goes to commercial break. Marko was playing possum. He goes through a suicide dive. It has no effect. Super kick by Brody Lee. So Marko is down on the outside. Brody Lee gets back into the ring. It is still very weird to see Brody Lee on AEW. Coaster Maniac says, breaking news. A Coaster Maniac's Rusty video is going to come very soon. Ooh. Could we see the drama played out on the Coaster Maniacs channel? Right, we've got Marko down on the outside. Brody has backed out into the corner. I think Marko just avoids the count out. So a little bit of a frustrated Brody goes over, picks up Marko, looking for some kind of a German, but Marko lands on his feet, kicks out at Brody Lee. Oh, it's like a deep six. Like a spinning sidewalk slam from Brody Lee and a sit-down powerbomb that was nasty. 2, 3, and he gets it. John says, the solution, all teams in War Games. Yes, we need a War Games. I wonder if there could be just thinking out loud, but what if everyone chose a faction and then there was some kind of quiz tournament? I don't know, maybe the insiders could do that. Host some kind of a quiz night with all these different factions. Might be quite interesting. Don't ask me about logistics, I don't know. I'm just saying things out loud. I just feel that people want to... I can see people gravitate into different groups. We just got a little promo from Moxley right now. Moda says, I like the ECW faction. I'm just happy to be in the conversation. You're in the conversation, Moda. You're absolutely in the conversation. Dark Angel says, War Games, War Games. Jaden, I do think AEW are making a video game. I think that's very, very high. Rusty, me versus Days because he misses all my good fun chats, says your boy. Days stirring the pot. Hey, I'm just thinking what you could it could be quite interesting. Could be quite. I feel like there's something there. I like to throw these I like to give the NWA good ideas on a Tuesday, and I'll give the community some good ideas on a Wednesday. So, Moxley still cutting a promo. He's out in the desert. Don't know where he is, actually. Jon Moxley says, I understand with Double or Nothing coming up, I've got a big target on my back. Please remember, when you step up to the world champion, you do so at your own risk. Don't forget to call your grandmother. This is what I'm saying. When AEW do comedy, they are really good. You've got Jon Moxley cutting a very serious promo saying he's got a big target on his back and all this kind of stuff. And then he ends it with, don't forget to call your grandmother. I mean, sadly, mine passed away a few years ago, so. But apart from that small detail, we are at commercial break. Days, join the Swamp Pack if you want free food and drink. Tony says, Days is the cook, he stirs the pot. I don't know what you mean, Tony. That doesn't sound like me. It doesn't sound like me at all. I'm not a pot stirrer. Days, my arch nemesis. I want you in a match. A poll for 15 minutes. Days, I'm still hoping WWE re-signs Sarah Logan. John says, or a rumble, maybe like a 50-man rumble. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't know. I feel like there would have to be something that people would vote on. Do you know what I mean? I feel like everyone would have to submit something, and then like they go up against each other. So some kind of, I don't know. I can't quite tell. Is it a picture of some kind? The best wrestling-related picture. Rusty versus Coaster Maniacs, and then we vote whoever has sent in the best image. Could be part of their collection, could be a funny picture, could be anything, I don't know. Or maybe it's a quiz, I don't know. I feel like there's something there for the insiders to play around with. We're still at commercial break on AEW, and we've got less than, I tell you what, time is absolutely flying. We've got half an hour, not even that. We're still underway with Drake versus Tony Nese. AEW is at commercial break right now. Eric Haberman says, Days, I want to thank you for everything you do, no matter what company we watch. Either AEW or NXT, we're all still wrestling fans, passionate wrestling fans. You're absolutely right, Eric. Absolutely right. I'm going to drop a thank you to you, Eric, at the bottom. Thank you, Eric Haberman. The Haberman. My favourite kind of a man. The Haberman. Days, if Vince sells WWE, will he still be a part of it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It depends how much of it he sells. I'd be surprised if he would give up control. But we'll have to wait and see. Lovely bulldog from the top by Drake Maverick. And Drake gets the victory. Exactly as we thought he would. MJF returns next week. Also next week, Jon Moxley takes on Frankie Kazarian. So Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy will take on the Sex Gods. The Sex Gods in a street fight next week. Kenny and Matt versus the Sex Gods. Right, Lance Archer making his way down. I think they'll make Drake lose in the final. I can't stress enough how trash that whole thing is. I'm purposefully not even talking about it because I'm going to get angry. So I'm not going there. Right, Dustin Rhodes making his way down. So I think we're getting towards the main events now. Yeah. Brandy coming down with Dustin. That's good commentary from Jericho. He says that just goes to show how important this championship is to the Rhodes family. And I think on NXT, it's surely got to be time for this North American Championship match. Coaster says, I'm down to do something with Insiders, Rusty. It's in your court. Jaden says, I don't blame you, Days. I just feel for the furloughed and released talent. 100%. 100%. I absolutely feel the same. Absolutely feel the same. Slight relief that Gerald Briscoe was furloughed and not released, because that means potentially he could be brought back, or they will plan on bringing him back. But, you know, you'd hope that he's made enough money now for him to be all right and to, you know. But yeah, thoughts absolutely with those really released and furloughed. Rusty Shackelford says Rusty is game. Well, you'll have to get in touch with the Insiders. I don't know if they're around or if Joe or Jeff's around, but I feel like there's some big ideas being thrown around on this stream. We're underway anyway. We're at commercial. I feel like all I say on a Wednesday night is we're at commercial break. We're at commercial break. Well, we are at commercial break for NXT. We've got Dustin on the outside. I think Brandy's changed her outfit, as you do. As you do. Ross Vape says, Vince says there are 26 million jobless. Let's do an angle. Beaver Cleavage says, sorry I'm late. Personal stuff going on. I'm sorry to hear that, bud. Hope everything is okay. Thought I would come in and see how you all are. Shout out to you, Beaver Cleavage. Hope you are well, buddy. Although, sounds like not brilliant, but as I said, hope you got sorted what needed to get sorted. Cannonball to the Outside by Dustin Rhodes. I got PW crate today. There's a really nice Dusty Rhodes shirt inside and a Hacksaw Jim Duggan micro brawler. There we go. Shout out to you, C. Hope you are well. Thank you very much, Biruk. Appreciate the support, buddy. Big strikes coming in by Dustin. We've got 20 minutes left. That is it, my friends. And then, of course, as we said, we'll stick around for 10:15. And then Coaster Maniacs, who has been super active tonight, has got an interview. So if you want to talk roller coasters, talk wrestling, find out a bit more about Coaster Maniacs, maybe you want to talk further about this potential tournament idea, then jump over to the Insiders, who will be live. Well, not live, but they will have a chat over there in about half an hour. Premiering, I should say. Premiering a video. Lance Archer's gone under the ring and he's grabbed a chair. And he's going round now. He was going to wallop Dustin, but Dustin firing some shots off. Haven't seen Jake the Snake this week. Been no sign of Jake. Big boot by Lance. Next week we got Charlotte versus Io Shirai on NXT. We got Gargano against Dijakovic. Lance Archer was talking to some of the crowd, intimidating them. Jericho screaming, punch Pineapple Pete in the face. Oh, there's blood. There's blood coming down the face of Dustin. NXT Championship match next week. Adam Cole against the Velveteen Dream. And Dustin Rhodes is bleeding. He's going over, gets slammed face first. So we are at the North American Championship match. There we go. Damian Priest making his way down. J14 says, Days, I'm very sorry I'm late to the stream. What have I missed? Actually, do you know what? Not loads this week. There's been some decent matches. It's been an enjoyable watch, but there hasn't really been the OMG moment for me. There hasn't really been that big talking point. The big talking point is how stacked next week's NXT is. We know that Cody has got through to the final of the TNT tournament. Is either going to face Dustin or Lance. So we're waiting to see who is going to progress there. Charlotte picking up a victory against Mia Yim. And now we've got Damian Priest about to take on Keithley. Moda says, I'm going to be the special guest referee in the Rusty versus Coaster street fight. But you've got to watch out for special guest referees. I felt like I was $1 Million Man then. Here comes Keithley. Bask in his glory. Bask in his glory. Keithley. Obviously, he goes out with Mia Yim, so he's probably in a bit of a bad mood. Damian Priest in the ring. This is a big opportunity for Damian Priest. Damian Priest does run the risk of getting a little bit lost in the shuffle here because there's some brilliant stars coming through. Keith going straight over, staring at Damian Priest. This match should be fire. Both main events very good, actually. We've already got Dustin with blood running down his head. Championship match, so Keithley standing in the ring. Staring at Damian Priest. Days, who do you think will win the North American Championship match, Lee or Priest? I'm picking Lee to retain, says the Carmen Live 2. I'm going to go with Lee as well. But I think this is a tough one to call because I do think that Damian Priest has struggled to kind of establish himself. And what with Dexter Lumis in and Karrion Kross in, Damian Priest is the kind of person that could get a little lost in the shuffle. Keith Lee is not getting lost in the shuffle. So many people that are hot and high on Keith Lee that he's already a made man. He doesn't necessarily need the title. You could argue Damien does. A lovely crossbody by Keith Lee. Lands on top of Damian Priest. Damian Priest with a back elbow. Gets caught coming off the top with a big forearm strike by Lee. Lance Archer well in control on AEW as well. Dustin Rhodes rolling out the ring. Big clothesline by Keith Lee. Damian Priest goes out the ring. Moda says everybody's got a price. Back elbow by... Whoa! Proper fighting in the crowd, but there's no crowd. Damian Priest kind of out where the crowd would be. And Keith Lee picks up Damian Priest. What's he gonna do? Try and throw him back into the ring? Oh, he does! He throws him onto the edge of the ring. That's amazing. He doesn't just throw him down at the ringside area. He hurls him to the ring. That was cool. That was cool. Coaster Maniac says, will be a WWE and roller coaster quiz. Rusty knows coasters, so it's not unfair. Days, if insiders can't, I'm smelling a live stream. Oh, Keith Lee diving into Damian Priest. Damian Priest moves out the way and Keith Lee destroys the railings. The railings just explode everywhere. That was cool. That was cool. That was a cool moment. There's been a couple of nice little spots in this match already. Hard hitting. These two throwing everything at each other. Coaster, yeah, I think there's definitely something there. I think just looking at the chat, there seems to be a lot of interest in it. So I kind of feel like it's something that the insiders should look at. If not, then I think, maybe it's something that would fit nicely onto your channel. But you'll have to have a chat with the insiders when you're over there in the chat with them. Have a look. I know those boys are busy. I don't know if they could work anything out. Beaver Cleavage, shout out to you, buddy. John Elite says, Days, this may be a spoiler for next week, but I could see Adam Cole Bay retaining the NXT title thanks to a DQ and his boys interfering. I honestly would be shocked if they were to put the title on Velveteen Dream right now. That would feel like a really silly thing to do. What with these very serious allegations against the Dream. Now, the Dream categorically denies them. But it does feel like a a bad time. It seems like a bad time to do the match full stop. But they're doing it. Lance Archer is in a bit of a predicament as Dustin Rhodes kicks in the midsection. Well, not the midsection. It's he went low. There's no two ways about it. Kicked him right in the archers. Lance Archer, though, no selling it. Seems to have been no effect. He just got kicked where the sun doesn't shine, and Lance Archer just seems perfectly fine. Some bad selling from Lance Archer here. I feel like he should sell that. Perhaps there's nothing there. Not my words. Not my words. Here we go. Dustin Rhodes getting up. We are at commercial break on NXT, but a clothesline by Lance Archer. We are approaching the final 10. The final 10. Days, maybe Dream being advertised could be a sign that he's been found not guilty. Well, I'm not privy, or I haven't seen any news on that investigation, and obviously we know very serious allegations have been made. Now, Dream has come out and denied it, and Dream has come out and said that he's going to be seeking legal representation. So, you know, this is very, very serious stuff. But the Dream is fighting the allegations. And of course, you know, innocent until proven guilty. So maybe that's how WWE are approaching it. But I've always been very critical of Impact not investigating the allegations against Tessa. I mean, obviously they didn't have police involvement, but I felt like that needed to be looked into. And then it just started to come out that, like, WWE didn't take Tessa because apparently she's got, like, bad attitude backstage and she was causing trouble backstage, and this is why Impact took her, because she is a very, very good wrestler. And the only reason they could get her is because other companies didn't want the hassle. And you kind of look at it and you go, oh, I don't like that. I don't like any of that. Looking for a net breaker. A nasty net breaker by Damien Priest. 2. Shoulder up by Keithley. That was vicious. That was a vicious, vicious neck breaker. Keithley is down, and Damien Priest is having to try and pick him up. What's he trying to do? Looking for a suplex, but can't quite get Keithley up. If they put the belt on him, it will be a massive risk. Yes. Keithley down. Damien Priest down. Lovely charge by Keithley. Hurls Damien Priest into the corner. So, commercial break for AEW. Keithley and Damien Priest both a little worse for wear. North American Championship on the line. Big right hand by Keithley. Back elbow. Forearm strike. Damien Priest against the ropes. Keithley slams him down. Keithley doing some wonderful work right now. Oh. Corkscrew plancher by Lee. Mauro. I love Mauro. Are you kidding me? Into the ring goes Damien Priest. 1, 2. Damien Priest just kicking out. I don't even know if he did. He just kind of wiggled his legs. Here we go. Keithley against the ropes. And again, Damien Priest in the middle. Massive clothesline by Keithley. 2. Oh, it was almost Keith 3. It was almost Keith 3, but it was actually Keith 2. Over on AEW. Oh, Code Red. Code Red by Dustin Rhodes. Lovely work. So, well underway with both of these main events, and both of these main events very, very good. Keithley's got Damien Priest up in the air. Damien Priest lands down on his feet. Big strike by Dustin Rhodes. Forearm strike by Lance Archer. And another forearm strike back by Dustin Rhodes. They're trading forearms back and forth. Damien Priest has got Keithley by the throat. Keithley grabs Damien Priest by the throat. Looking for a choke slam, but couldn't do it. Big boot by Damien Priest. Oh, big forearm strike by Damien Priest. Some quick kicks coming in. Oh, big jab, big kick. Again, he's got Keithley. Blood coming down the face of Dustin. Oh, he picks up Keithley. Damien Priest with a Falcon Arrow. Keithley, though, managing to roll out the ring. That was cool. Dustin round the back, looking for a crossroads. Crossroads by Dustin Rhodes, going for the pin. Kick out, not even a 1 for Dustin Rhodes. Oh, over the top goes Damien Priest. Jumps over the top, comes landing down on Keithley, who was outside the ring. Amazing. Eric Haberman says if Dustin wins and faces Cody, it'll be brother versus brother. A classic in the making at AEW. Here we go. Damien Priest going up top. He is up top. Oh, spinning kick. Spinning kick by Damien Priest off the top. Shoulder up. It's minutes left, that's all. Minutes left. Damien Priest looking good. Mamma mia, says John. Robin says this match is banging. I gotta say, both matches are banging. Jim Gore says, how do you know Impact didn't do an investigation into the allegations brought up by Allysin Kay? Well, nothing was reported. No findings were found. And I would struggle to know how they did the investigation so quickly, because they pretty much put the title on her just days after all of it came out on Twitter. So unless an investigation was done like before, I don't see how they could have done it in time. So I don't think they could have done an investigation within that time frame and spoke to the people they needed to speak to. So I think they put the title on her, and then maybe they did an investigation after. But I've not seen any news of any findings. And what I find amazing about that is, wouldn't you want to clear your name? If such serious allegations were made against you, wouldn't you want to clear your name? Why would Impact want to make it seem like they didn't do an investigation? So they either didn't do one, or they didn't publish one. And either way, it doesn't make them look good, in my opinion. Sidewalk slam by Damien Priest. 2. Shoulder up. Big boot by Lance Archer. Days, if there are allegations and lies of these women wanting to be off TV, if it turns out to be true, then it's a bad idea. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing Velveteen Dream right now. Damian Priest has got a baton and he was trying to drive it into the head of Keithley, but Keithley rising up. Not sure about that. Keithley takes a moment to tell Damian Priest that he is limitless. One. No, he went for a bomb, power bomb, and another one. 2 in a row by Keithley. And he gets the win. Keithley gets the win. Cody has come out. So Keithley wins on NXT. Cody is talking to Dustin about, do you want me to throw the towel in? Okay, so they're not going to throw the towel in. There's a bit more drama at the end of AEW here as Lance Archer is slamming Dustin's head in the ring. And Lance Archer wins. Lance Archer beats Dustin Rhodes. I thought it would go that way just because Dustin said he would retire last week if he lost, but he didn't say it this week. So, there we go. So, Keithley stands tall. We said we thought he would retain, but honestly, if Damien had won that, I wouldn't have been surprised. I feel like Damien probably needs the title more than Keithley, but tell you what, Dustin Rhodes' face has definitely been battered in that match. A hard-hitting match. Right, get your scores in. Get your scores in. What do you think of both shows? Get your scores in. NXT 9.75 says Sandman882. John, see you later, my friend. William Hensey, shout out to you. Lance Archer's theme is fire, says the Beast. AEW 7.5, NXT 7.25. C Wrestling says both were great shows. 9 out of 10 for both from C Wrestling. NXT 8 says Robin. 7.5 says Coaster Maniacs. Scott says NXT 8. Anador says NXT 6.25. Delanio says 10 out of 10. 8 out of 10 says Broken Dreams. Chalmers says AEW is 7.75. NXT 8.5. Andrew W says A++++++ for both. Some really high scores tonight. Wrestling Days fan says NXT is 8.5. Super Speedway fan says 9 for AEW. Damian Robinson says NXT 7.5. AEW 9.5. LeBron fan 23 says AEW 10, NXT 9. Kevin Paveo says NXT 8.5, AEW 5. We've got lots of scores. 9 for both, says James Chadwick. John Elite says 8 for both. Chris says 8 for both. Aiden says 10 out of 10 for NXT. Kevin says NXT 10. Jonathan says NXT 8. Tony says NXT 8. AEW 0 because I don't watch, which is fair enough. Sonny Wolf says 8 out of 10 for both. Dean Winchester says 98.5 out of 10. NXT 7.75, AEW 8. I'm going to say that NXT this week didn't have a great deal on it that blew my mind. I thought that it was solid. So I always say average is 6.5. I feel like the Charlotte Mia Yim match was very good. I thought the main event had some really good stuff in it. Outside of that, I really feel that this week was to set up next week. I think next week for NXT is going to be massive. So I just feel like this week was solid. Some good moments, but not really a great deal for me to lose my mind over. So I'm going to say it's a 6.75 out of 10. As I said, average for me is 6.5. So I'm going to say a 6.75 show. It was solid, but it is, make no mistake about it, it is all about next week. All about next week. AEW had two very big semi-finals tonight. I think both of those matches were very good. Again, they didn't have anything that really stood out beyond that. So I kind of feel like they're similar. But the only thing I will say is that I think they do comedy so much better. Like their little Britt Baker segment I really enjoyed. Jon Moxley's little promo where he says, make sure you call your grandmother at the end. I really enjoyed. I really like Jericho on commentary. I think that he's very good. So just for those little fringe things that make a little difference, I think in-ring wise, both shows were very similar. I think that NXT next week is going to be absolutely massive. I'm going to say AEW was the slightly better show this week. Again, I'm impartial. I will just sit and call it as I see it. So if you felt different, that's absolutely fine. Like, no one's right, no one's wrong. I'm just literally giving you my thoughts. For me to be going into like 8s and 9s, I really do need it to have some kind of big OMG moments. Be that title changes, shock returns, debut. Do you know what I mean? Like a big announcement. I really do need. That for me is. That's where we're getting into 9s, like 8.5s and 9s. I need that. We didn't get anything like that. All we got was some big announcements for next week, I suppose. I mean, we know that next week's NXT is going to be stacked, and I can't wait for that. So, yeah, I would say that Jericho is making a big difference on commentary. When you go online, you see a lot of people singing the praises for Jericho, and I think rightfully so. I think he's doing a really, really good job. But make no mistake about it, the differences between both shows this week was very, very slight. I think both shows had some really good wrestling. And, yeah, good stuff, man. Enjoyable Wednesday night. That's what we just had. An enjoyable Wednesday night. My scores, AEW, is that minus 17 or 17? NXT 8, draw 4, and 1. Not applicable. AEW has been trash, but I don't watch it anymore. Beaver Cleavage, no worries, dude. Shout out to C Wrestling. That's how you know Cody doesn't care about his brother. James says next week NXT is a mini takeover. Yes. I would imagine there'll be some kind of title change next week. I can't imagine. I can't. Are they saying that? I can't see Charlotte losing to EO so quickly, and I can't see Adam losing to Velveteen Dream. So it's a hard one to call, isn't it? It's a hard one to call, but equally, I can't see them retaining. But I suppose you've got to sit here and say that it's likely that they both do. I think if any titles change in hands, I think Charlotte's losing it. But I don't think that's going to happen next week. Broken Dream says, I don't really care about comedy. That's fair play. Better than Raw and SmackDown. NXT 0 because Priest lost, says Random Gamer 8786. Let me go into and just make sure that I'm shouting out everyone that I need to thank at the bottom. So a big thank you to Jody Gilly. A big thank you to William Hensey. Big thank you to Rusty Shackleford 360. Thank you, of course, to Coaster Maniacs. A big thank you to Moda And thank you to Eric Haberman as well. Don't forget, literally in 7 minutes, over on the Insiders Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel, an interview with Coaster Maniacs. I would imagine there's going to be roller coaster conversation, wrestling conversation. Obviously, everyone will be in the chat as well. I'd be quite interested in exploring that whole tournament thing. So, yeah, jump over there if you want to still be a part of that conversation. That's going to start in literally 7 minutes' time. Stomedy says 7.9 for AEW. I love the Bubbly Bunch episode. Yeah, that's cool. I will admit I do miss out on like those parts of it. I can see that it looks fun, and it was nice seeing Vicky Guerrero on the show. But I can't have the sound because, of course, I'm having to watch NXT and we're watching AEW, so I do miss out on a few things like that. But it certainly looked fun. Roy Rees says, I can't stand Britt Baker. I think that's why they made her heel. Because, like, I agree. She wasn't anyone I really cared about when she was a face. But now she's a heel, and her interactions with Tony, I find them fun. And she's also super unlikable, which is great for a heel. So, Coaster Maniac says there's going to be some surprises. Well, there we go. LSW says, I'm calling it right now. The Dream will win against Cole. LeBron says, I think Jake the Snake is happy because that match he wanted with Cody, but didn't know it was going to be for the TNT Championship. Yeah, well, there we go. Cody versus Lance. I agree. I think Jake will be happy, and the build for that match is going to be a lot of fun. Swamp Manor says, Days WWE don't understand that people want Keith Lee on SmackDown. He would be good on SmackDown. Michael says Dream is not gonna win. They just can't risk it right now. Well, yeah, I mean, I would agree, but I would say they shouldn't even have him in the match right now. But they're still going ahead with the match. I suppose the thing is, Dream is saying that that's a picture of him that's doing the rounds, but he did not send it to minors. And there's absolutely no truth that anyone underage was sent that picture by him. So he's claiming it's absolute rubbish. So I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you can't have anyone just making up anything. But equally, it's very, very risky. Very, very risky. I personally would not be doing this match, and I'm sure a lot of you agree as well. Not until this gets cleared up, because even if Dream wins, right, how are you going to celebrate that not knowing? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel very unsure about the Dream at the moment until I know what's going on and until we find out the results. I'm certain if Dream wins next week, I'm not going to break out into celebration. So it does feel very, very weird. Very, very weird. Bakel, what the hell am I on about? Becky will have held the title for 400 days on May 12th, says Isman. Carmen Live says, Days, can you give me in Hammond, Indiana a shout out? My score for NXT was 9 out of 10. There we go. Carmen Live 2, shout out to you. And Hammond, Indiana. LSW says, Days, will Balor call out his attacker? Well, yeah, if he knows who it is, yes. Maybe Balor interferes in the Adam Cole Velveteen Dream match and costs Dream that way or something. Ethan says AEW is overrated. We need Keithley on Raw. We need more people to fight Drew. Days, will you be there? Yeah, I will jump over, yes. We've still got 3 minutes to go, so people can start jumping over if they want. we're just starting to wrap up now here. But the Insiders Wrestling podcast, everyone will be jumping over there soon. NXT 8.3 says, Ethan, unify the belts. EC3 MJF are future tag champs, says CCR72. AEW is like Raw, they give us pointless matches. I don't know. I mean, obviously we had 2 matches tonight that were in that tournament. Both of them were semi-final matches. So, they weren't pointless. Brody Lee, they're just trying to establish him. So, him beating up Marko Stunt. We saw Lance Archer doing the same. So, I don't mind those matches. There was no women's match on AEW this week, which is a bit strange. And that only just dawned on me, actually. So, but I thought the action was all right. I thought it was pretty good. Does anyone think the best friends are injured after this match? Not sure. Not sure. Is WWE up for sale? Rumours at the moment. No one knows at this stage. Right, we are going to have to go because we've got 1 minute till it starts over on the Insiders Wrestling podcast. So there we go. It's been a lot of fun. Really, really appreciate everyone's support. The conversation is going to continue over at the Insiders Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. Coaster Maniacs is going to be talking about roller coasters, going to be talking about wrestling, and the conversation will continue in the chat over there. To everyone that joined us for AEW and NXT tonight, thank you so much. Again, no one can be wrong. If you preferred AEW, that's fine. If you preferred NXT, that's fine. If you thought that both shows were equal, guess what? That's also fine. We are just loving all of this wrestling. Do you know what? We're being spoiled. That's what's happening. We're being spoiled right now. So, some good stuff tonight. And next week looks even tastier. So, don't forget, we're back tomorrow for Royal Rumble 2000, the watch-along. Jump over to the Insiders Wrestling Podcast right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.